squad, for whatever reason, it's ended up with blokes a little bit at the end of their careers, or the back end of their careers a little bit, and guys a little bit at the front end. If you look at the ages of Jennings, the ages of Wells, Anderson, if we're honest. So, Bailey. Where are the 28-year-olds in their pomp? Where are the 25 to 32-year-olds? It's not. They're under 25s or over 35s. So that's a bit of a challenge, really, when it comes to squad, in my opinion.
Players are heading out here, which is excellent news, because there was a suggestion that we might just catch a shower or two, but and the radar does suggest that there is a little bit of rain around, but the fact that the players are heading out is highly encouraging news. Just run through the Glamorgan side for us again, will you, Kenneth, as well, and so this is certainly very much a joint commentary, so I know we've talked quite a bit there about Lancashire, but in terms of the Glammy boys, how they're lining up?
Well, they're as superb as they were at New Road on Friday. So they read as follows: Smail Carson, the captain, of course; Kellaway, Hurl, Dixon, Chris Cook, the wicket-keeper; Jimmy Neesham, the Kiwi; Dan Douthwaite, Nathan McAndrew from Australia; Tim van der Hoogten, and Andy Gorvin. Of course, there's no Mason Crane or Asa Try, both again on England Lions duty today. So Richard Dawson keeping faith with the 11 that lost by 27 at New Road on Friday.
That is the south end of the ground, which is where the bowling will be open from. This, where we're broadcasting from, is the north end of the ground here at Stanley Park. There's actually quite a decent crowd in as well, which I suppose you would expect. There's not many T20 games played here. In fact, this is just the fourth. This is one without loss. Brings Marcus Harris on strike, and you mentioned, Paul, he's not someone, I mean, he's played, I think, 50 plus T20 games in his career, but obviously more regarded as a red ball player.
Look, he's a fabulous cricketer and a wonderful batsman, and has done incredibly well for Lancashire, but he's not signed for T20 cricket in Lancashire, isn't he? He's signed to play first-class cricket and score hundreds and win a championship. He's not signed to open a batting in a blast, if we're honest with ourselves.
Needs most, I guess. Here is Harris, who's off the back foot and cuts that nicely away through the offside for a single, so he gets his first run of the afternoon. So 2 without loss, Lancashire Lightning. And
that's where the injury blow to Green is a big blow for Lancashire, really. A guy who's played a lot of cricket, he's not going to play feature anymore, which is a real shame for Lancashire. And they've had a couple of injuries this season. It really hasn't helped their momentum in any format.
Anyway, balls to Jennings. That's run away through the offside for another single. 3 without loss. Yes, the Chris Green injury, the latest actually on the eve of the Roses fixture last week. The news that Chris has fractured, I think it's his thumb or his finger, requiring a bit of surgery, which I think he's had. But that now rules Chris Green out for the remainder of his time this season with Lancashire. He will be back again next season for a 4th year with the club. It's Kellaway to Harris. That's clipped, it's in the air and just bouncing short of mid-wicket. Diving catch at close mid-wicket. Ball doesn't reach him. Score remains on 3 without loss. As Kellaway's in to complete the first over of the game. And Harris can't find a way through the offside. That's just chopped out towards cover. And there is no run. I think there is a little bit of light rain around at the minute. Nothing that's going to be too concerning with regards to players leaving the field, but there is the possibility we might get the odd shower this afternoon, but fingers crossed it stays dry. Doesn't look very summery out there, does it?
I think I've had a flicker of rain coming in.
You've had a flicker? Oh dear.
But we'll see. It is going to be Tim van der Hoogten from the what end is this?
This is
Scott?
the northern end.
This is the northern end. Okay. Tim van der Hoogten, who's I think he's going to be rested in this competition more so. I think that is one of the themes of the Glamorgan squad this year. They've added a bit of depth, given McAndrew coming in for this competition. Hadley, of course, the other Australian, has been on red ball duty, and Tim van der Hoogten will be bowling to Jennings. Here he comes. Starts his run up and bowls, and that's firmly pushed towards mid-off. And Lancashire will take a single to Sean Dixon.
Interesting, obviously, bowling. This awesome bowling. I presume there's a couple of reasons why. It's a club ground. It has been a bit of rain. They may think there's something in the surface a little bit. Also, can you shut somebody down on a smaller ground as well? So what is a good score? Can you shut somebody down? So first use here for Glamorgan to get anything out. What is it is a club wicket, if we're honest with ourselves.
Van der Hoogten, the Australian-born Netherlands international, comes in and bowls, and that's lofted in the air, but it will dribble over the boundary for 4 over mid-off. That is the first boundary of the afternoon coming to Harris. Didn't get all of what was required, but enough on it.
Yeah, it looks a slow surface from the first couple of balls. Lack of pace in the wicket here today, Blackpool.
Van der Hoogten to Harris again, over mid-wicket, and that'll go all the way for 4. That was a better shot, and sped away to the mid-wicket boundary. So 8 runs in 2 balls, and this is a profitable over for Lancashire Lightning.
And also, if there is rain around as it starts to drizzle on the ground, batting second, you seem to always get a bit more of a chance or an idea of what you're chasing. A small total. If it's a reduced game and it's a 10-over game and you're chasing 100, then you're more chance of getting you with 10 wickets in the shed, haven't you?
Glamorgan have had it all in the past few games. There were light issues on Thursday in Taunton as Van der Hoogten comes in and bowls Harris, and that's cut to just backward point, deep backward point for a single. They went off 3 times in Taunton, which could have been, we joke about it, they went off in the last over, and Duckworth Lewis could have come into play. It would have been interesting. And then bad light was certainly a factor in New Road on Friday, and Richard Dawson was less than happy with the match referee as Tim Van der Hoogten comes in, steams in, and bowls full, and that's firmly struck and partially stopped because that was flying. Dixon got down, the South African, formerly of Somerset, and saved a boundary. Richard Dawson didn't want to do an interview. Kieran Carlson did. He was unhappy, but very diplomatic. Very diplomatic. Off air, not so.
No, I can imagine, yes.
So just to remind me on that game, was the issue that it was dark and hard to bat? Batting second.
It was, and as Van der Hoogten comes in to Harris, bowls, short dish of a length. This won't be caught, and he's got enough on it. It won't be a boundary, though. Yes, it will. It was McAndrew. Thought he was going to cut it off, and there was a little wry smile on Sean Dixon's face to his teammate that says, yeah, you probably should have done so, mate. However, it's another boundary, and that is a very good second over for Lancashire. 18 for none, 15 coming off the second over. The issue, going back to your point, was Kieran Carlson thought they shouldn't have gone back out because Sean Dixon was bowled by Finch, and I tell you what, we needed lights in the commentary box. It was really murky. Obviously, no floodlights at New Road, and but there you go.
And the issue at Taunton was they kept going off.
The issue at Taunton, they went off 3 times for the floodlights failing. So
not ideal. It's Kellaway with second over of spin. As Jennings goes on the reverse sweep, gets enough bat on ball, and that'll trickle its way down towards the boundary in towards our tent here for 4 runs for Jennings. He doubles his score. He moves on to 8, and Lancashire Lightning move on to 22 without loss as we get into the third over of this game.
Just to give it a few early indications of the speed of the outfield, Jennings is a reverse sweep. He sort of gloved it. He didn't really get much on it, but it just didn't. You don't really look like you're going to catch the ball here today. There's no 3s are going to be run here today at Blackpool.
There's a cutter by Jennings into the offside, fielded inside the circle. And
the ones over the top from Harris, a previous over. It looks like you're potentially going to get caught by mid-on and mid-off. But you then 1 bounce or 2 bounces for 4. So, quite fast scoring if you do get it through the field here today.
Kellaway into Jennings, reverse again, and that'll be 4 again. He likes that shot, doesn't he, Jennings? Sweep and the reverse sweep, and it brings him 4 more runs. He moves on to 12, and Lancashire Lightning are 26 without loss. We're in the third over of this fixture here in Blackpool. It's starting to rain again, but I think we just have to battle on through this. It might just be a case of this being a little bit like this for the next couple of hours. Callaway, with the keeper crouching down, Bowles, and Jennings pushes through mid-off for a single this time. He moves to 9, 27 without loss in the third over.
Not really nice conditions. You can tell by the amount of rain that's going on. Obviously, his umbrella's in the stands, so even the die-hard fan has put the umbrella up to give you an indication of the amount of rain that is coming down. I don't know how long they'll play in this. They'll probably stay out. It does get a bit harder. They'll probably look to come off at some stage if a continuation of this sort of weather.
It's Callaway to Harris this time. That's cut. It's well stopped actually by Dathwaite inside the circle. It's Jimmy Neeson showing inside the circle. Just get through for one though. 28 without loss. Have you ever featured in a game, Paul, where the floodlight failures happened and you've I mean, let alone once. I mean, I think it happened 3 times, didn't it, for the Glammy boys on midweek?
Yeah, I don't think I did actually, but I have been off for light, i.e. too much sunlight at Old Trafford years ago when the wicket was the other way around.
Excellent. Forward goes Jennings. That comes off the inner half of the bat, and must be a little bit of a fumble. Can't quite see away to my right. Single for Jennings. That's the end of the over. So 29 without loss. We've had 3 overs of this fixture. Again, the 2 umpires are coming together.
Yeah, well, you've had a couple of slips, haven't you, the last couple of overs? So the one at backward point was fielded. It was a misfield. It was a slip. That was a forward defensive for, a normal sort of regulation stop for McAndrew, who then slipped again. Bowlers have asked for a bit of sawdust here, old school traditional sawdust to come out on a cricket field. But no, what is interesting, I did hear a bit of a tongue-in-cheek comment regarding that game that Worcester and Glamorgan played. And who won the toss?
It was Glamorgan.
And they chose to bat second.
They've always done so far. They always elect to chase.
But obviously they knew it would do.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
if they were that concerned, they could have been concerned and bowled first. Or batted first. Yeah.
Quite.
Oh well, thus there goes their argument, doesn't it? A little bit. I can understand. Obviously, you go off and bat light, and you do what is right for the game, batting or bowling first. You do not to win, not because you should be playing in dark conditions, but I did see someone comment that, and I thought it was quite an interesting stat.
No, indeed. Yeah.
And that is a concern, isn't it, with regards to new road? Obviously, doesn't have the lights, doesn't it? And it never has.
No, and it won't. It's not on the agenda as. This is McAndrew coming in, and that's full and played to mid-on, where Will Smale fields. McAndrew took 4 for 15 against Somerset in the win at Sophia Gardens, and it is an acquisition for Glamorgan. Plenty of experience, Nathan McAndrew, and both Aussies have done brilliantly. Ryan Hadley has done brilliantly in red ball cricket, and McAndrew coming in and bowls full and whipped into the onside through mid-wicket by Jennings. This is going well in the power play so far. 31 for no wicket, 32. So they're going at a fair lick here, Lancashire. In fact, Glamorgan bowled well at New Road, restricted Worcestershire to 42 for 2 in the power play, and they were 51 without loss in their innings before the wheels came off. Keaton Jennings, Johannesburg born, 17 tests to his name, facing McAndrew. Bowls good length delivery, and it's fielded. It's a bump ball, so I think Chris Cook thought it might have been caught and bowled, which it wasn't. Not sure if you saw the Ryan Hadley brilliant innings for Glamorgan against Somerset, or heard about it. Carried his bat throughout the day. It was an unbelievable effort.
Yeah, I heard about it and saw it obviously on social media, and having played grade cricket a number of years ago with Ryan Hadley when he was a lot younger, probably even more astonishing.
Well, I think he was astonishing to himself. He didn't expect it at all as McAndrew comes in and bowls, and that's the ramped, tried and failed as it goes through to Chris Cook. But he's a jovial character. He's very popular with the squad, and he's actually had an extended stay. He's going to be staying for a couple more championship fixtures, but he was as surprised as anybody.
And the rain is just starting to come a bit steadier down here.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if we carry on after this over.
McAndrew coming in and bowls, and that's played firmly, and it's clubbed behind McAndrew for 4. So that moves Lancashire to 35 in the 4th over, and as Paul Horton was mentioning, is just coming down a bit heavier now, so there might be a bit of a conflab between both umpires at the end of this over.
So they might do. What they tend to do is wait for at the end of an over, really, to come together and decide if it's raining or not. I always found it a strange thing as a player. You know, it doesn't seem to get hard in between overs, but they always seem to wait till an over, unless it's torrential.
Hedging their bets as McAndrew comes in, and that's waft. Well, it's a good waft because it's gone fine, and it's gone for 4. And it's another boundary, and they move on to 39 for no wicket after the 4th in the power play, and they're not coming together. I think they're just going to power on.
Yeah, well, they are. It looks like Steve O'Shaughnessy from up this neck of the woods is used to the trickle of drizzle on the back of his neck. So, yeah, he probably thinks it's tropical, to be honest with you, with what it can be up in there, especially from the dark depths of Lancashire. So, it's just that rain. It's consistent rain. It's not torrential, but it is starting to, become really wet. I would have thought. We're covered up here, even though we're in a beautiful, illustrious tent here.
Winnebago.
We've covered up our own electronic equipment now. with one of Scott's Reed's cagoules that he's brought.
Yes, it's a high-tech production, is this? I mean, I'm absolutely staggered it's working. 39 without loss. Harris on 16, Van der Hookten in and balls to Harris. That's eased away through backward point and just deflects it out towards the boundary for a single. So 40 without loss here on BBC Radio Lancashire, on Lancs TV as well, and across the BBC Sport website and app. It's I would say sunny Blackpool, but it's definitely not sunny Blackpool. It's drizzly, rainy Blackpool at the minute. But we're battling on and still playing. Here's Van der Hookten to Jennings. Down the pitch he comes. That's cut into the offside. One bounce to cover. Neesham Fields. And there's no run. 40 without loss. Jennings on 23 and Harris on 17. This is over number 5. So still in the power play. Keaton Jennings, who helped him for a decent afternoon with the bat, having I don't think anybody from a Lancashire persuasion enjoyed Friday night in Leeds. So Van der Hookten balls to Jennings, steps across the stumps and looks to ramp it over his shoulder down towards the boundary, and it's gone for 4 runs for Jennings. 44 without loss in the 5th Lancashire.
Yeah, really nice batting from Jennings. You know, Van Hookten change of pace off the ball. Obviously, you know, worried about sort of getting clubbed down the ground. He's done the previous overs, change of ends. But Jennings is good at his ability, obviously, to scoop the ball over fine leg and then obviously hit down the ground as well. So it's always good to have an opposite as a batsman. You know, that's where where he's going to go. Is he going to reverse, ramp you behind, or is he going to hit down the ground? Very hard to counteract that as a bowler when you only got 2 guys out.
There's Van der Hookten sets off balls to Jennings. That's cut out towards the offside. There is a protection on the cover boundary, and Dan Dathwaite. Jennings through for 1. I think, wasn't Dathwaite on strike when the floodlights went out?
Well, he was, and he
got out the next
clubbed
ball.
a massive 6, Dathwaite, in that over. But he was, yeah.
And they came back on when the floodlights came on, and he was out, wasn't he? The first ball.
Yeah.
Not ideal, is it? 45 without loss. Jennings on 28. Harris is back on strike. Here's Van der Hookten balls, and Harris down the pitch. It's flashed out towards the leg side. It's gone for 4 runs. And Lancashire starting brightly here in this power play. Harris takes his score to 21. They're knocking on the door of 50 as well. 49 for no wicket.
You're doing really well. You're playing, obviously, as we said to Harris, he's not a traditional T20 player. He's obviously going to put on a big show here today against what we've sort of recommended. But there's not a lot of margin for error with the bowlers here today. It's a small ground. It's a fast outfield. And where do you really go with the ball in hand? There's not a lot of pace in the wicket. It'll be a high-scoring affair, this.
Harris 21 not out. Van der Hoogten in and bowls. It's a slow ball bouncer, which Harris gets bat on ball, going to the way to point, and that brings up the 50 for Lancashire. And that is 5 overs gone. Harris 22, Jennings on 28, Lancashire Lightning of 50 without loss. The game on Friday was Marcus Harris's first T20 match for over a year. In fact, almost, I think, 14 or 15 months in between his previous T20 games, played in the Big Bash in January of 2025. But he's back playing some white ball cricket, which I think, to be fair, was unexpected. I'm not so sure that Marcus Harris had it in his diary that he'd be playing some T20 Blast cricket this summer. But he's out there on 22, Lancashire 50 without loss, 5 gone.
From the north end, there'll be a change in the shape of Dan Douthwaite, who hasn't played any championship cricket this year, white ball specialist. Just to give the BBC Wales listeners a bit of a visual aspect of this ground at Stanley Park, it's probably close to what we know from the Knoll ground at Neath. Douthwaite coming in, bowls, bangs that one in short, down to a short fine leg on the 45. There are 2 games at that out ground in the one-day Cup. Did you have? No, you wouldn't have played at Neath, would you?
No, I've not had the pleasure, actually. Not had the pleasure of playing at Neath. Swansea I may have played. Come in, slightly different action. Doesn't have a great deal of front arm. It sort of happens quite quickly. He runs in. Look, he's not a bloke you want to get in front of, or not much. He's not wearing much room. He'd have to go sideways through a door. He looks like. So when he runs in with his big shoulders, with no real front arm, a quick arm, actually a bit different. So he's bowled really well in that first couple of balls. And then Jennings has just tried to scoop one and not got it over 45, which is a high-risk shot as it is. But a good wicket for Glamorgan, much needed.
He's got this nonchalant run-up where you don't think much is going to come of it, and then he just launches it. And he's got this knack of always taking wickets. Sometimes can be expensive. However, he's taken an important one because Lancashire had gone off to a fly in the power play, and the first wicket to fall is that of Keaton Jennings, the captain.
Yep, Liam Livingston, the new batsman for Lancashire, coming in at 3, batted at 4 on Friday, with Hurst batting at 3.
One test, of course, to his name. 39 one-day internationals, Liam Livingstone, so again bags of experience. Right-hand batter as Douthwaite comes in. Livingston on strike, full, and played firmly, and it evades Will Smale at wideish mid-off, and probably Smale himself thinks he might have got down to partially block that, but as it was, it's a great start for Livingston, off the mark immediately.
Would Livingston's promotion, Paul, be potentially because of the rain around? You don't want him sat in the pavilion if we might be going off.
Yeah, I think a little bit of that, but ultimately, if you've got, Liam Livingston's an IPL T20 cricketer, so you may as well get him involved in the game, especially on an out ground like this. This ground isn't big enough for Liam Livingston, so you may as well get involved and bat as long as possible.
Douthwaite is in, and that's chopped down, and it evades short third, but the man sweeping will hurl it back in. They do come in for a second.
Yeah, and it's also a good start. You wouldn't know. You don't know if he was always scheduled to come in 3, but they haven't lost a wicket. You're into the 6th over now, aren't you? So it's time to get one of your better players in. They've still got McDermott as well. So as much they have got a powerful batting lineup, haven't they? The top 4.
Douthwaite to Livingston, bowls. That's hit aggressively into the offside, but there's a man fielding in the deep. Give you guys a chance to influence the game. If Lancashire are going to put a big total on, it's going to come from a Jennings, who's out now, but a Jennings, a Livingston, McDermott, Harris. It's the top 4 of in essence the top 4 of where you want the runs to come from. Well, brilliant power play for Lancashire made 58. Just eight coming off the 6th, which bar the first was their least in terms of runs. So they've gone off to a bit of a flyer here at Stanley Park.
Yeah, they have, and obviously it's really hard to know, as I said before, with regards to the size of the dimensions of the surface, but also the fastness of the outfit. It's really hard to know what a good score is. There's not really a track record of scores here in T20 cricket to go by from a statistical point of view. It's very hard to know what is a good score here. What you know, in this modern era on an outground, what is a good score batting first here? So that's probably why, and obviously with the rain around, you would want to chase. If it gets shortened, you have more chance of winning if you are with bat in hand. So I would have thought that's what's Glamorgan's call on winning the tosses and bowling first.
Yeah, just 3 previous T20 fixtures here. Lancashire won 2 of those 3, and the other one was washed out. So, yeah,
don't say that.
McAndrew it will be from the south end of the ground. Balls to Livingston, just dropped into the offside for a single. Livingston moves to a 59 for 1. Brings Harris back on strike. Yeah, the ground here, I know you were just describing it for our listeners in Wales. We're in Stanley Park. It's quite a big park, is Stanley Park. There's a lot going on, including a zoo. There's a zoo in Stanley Park just behind us. So it's a
Is that for people or for animals?
Well, I'd let you be the judge of that.
Well, it's strange actually. I've actually been to the zoo. Yeah, when I stayed last year, Durham played here in a 4-day game, didn't they?
They did. There's McAndrew in and balls, and that's whipped away by Harris off his hip out to mid-wicket for a single. 61 for 1.
And I think sometimes, I must admit my take on my girls. I got 2 young girls and they love animals, and I think my take on the zoo was, at times I struggled to work out who was behind the cages and if they were the right. If that was right or not. I didn't know if I was in the cage or the animals were. So that's probably my take on Blackpool Zoo.
Well, I can empathise because I've got 3 daughters, so I feel your pain, Paul.
Livingston's on 8. McAndrew for Glamorgan. 60 for 1. We're in the 7th over. Livingston launching the ball out towards the leg side. That's the first one to clear the ground. I suspect there'll be quite a few today. Out towards that leg side boundary, especially for the right-hander. That is something that will get targeted quite a lot today. That's one in the trees, and it won't be the last. 66 for 1.
It is, and like we said before, this ground is too small really for a Livingston, and a man who's used to being all over the world and trying to clear the ropes on some of the biggest cricket grounds in the world, and that's his go-to, isn't it? It is essence, strong bottom hand. He is going to try and pull and mow the ball into the leg side, and it's a traditional slog sweep, and it's gone comfortably over the rope and comfortably out of the ground. So there'll be a few more of them. We could have a big show here today with some of the people in the zoo may be in trouble actually.
There's a lovely grandstand as well in the park. That was aimed towards the general direction of the grandstand. There's an athletics track as well on the far side. It's a lovely space here in Blackpool. There's McAndrew bowls to Livingston on his front foot there, whips the ball away through the onside for a single. Moves to 15 not out. Lancashire Lightning 67 for 1.
You mentioned no margin for error. I know it's not an outground, but Chelmsford are always difficult for bowlers, isn't it? Because it's such a compact ground, and usually high scoring there as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, but the good thing about Chelmsford, obviously, you have a lot of history and understanding of scores and what is a good score, what isn't, etc.
McAndrew balls to Harris. That's whipped out towards the leg side.
Vociferous crowd as well.
Yeah,
Chelmsford.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think they are.
In the nicest way.
I've got some previous scores here in the T20 games that have featured down the last few years in the Blast. Highest score 181 for 4. There's McAndrew balls to Livingston. That's drill through mid-on for a single. 70 for 1. So in 2022, Lancashire played Nottinghamshire here, and Lancashire won that match, scoring 181 for 4. Lancashire Worcestershire in 2023. Again, a victory for Lancashire, a score of 181 for 6. And there's been a couple of other results here which Lancashire have lost. A game against Nottinghamshire, they won the match scoring 179 for 7, and Worcestershire beat Lancashire in 2023 here, 177 for 9. But as you say, it's not a great sample size, is it really, to try and get some kind of idea as to what is.
Well, you can see by the scores you have, on their hand that it's 180, isn't it? As a minimum, really. Okay. The other one is, I know Risoldo 133 for 6, but it's a 180, isn't it? So, that's I would have thought the score would be roughly, Lancs need to be posting, upwards of 200, 200 plus. Glamorgan will feel they got a chance of in around the 180 mark.
This is Jimmy Neesham coming into Livingston, and that's cut aggressively and does evade point for a single. So just the 1 over, wicket taking over for Dan Douthwaite from this north end. Long on is right on the perimeter in front of us in the shape of Will Smale. Long on now, because it is the left-hand bat of Harris. In comes the Kiwi, Jimmy Neesham, hero of the hour at Taunton on Thursday. Bowls, and that's firmly struck. Only too firm to take a run to Sean Dixon at mid-off. Dixon's been a valuable acquisition for Glamorgan, deemed surplus to requirements by Somerset. I did see an awful lot of their followers saying, can we have him back, please? Because he struck 76 against Somerset in the four-dayer and was top scorer at Taunton on Thursday as well. Again, bags of experience. Starting his run-up is Jimmy Neesham to Harris, coming around to the left-hander. That's walloped in the air, should be caught here by Smale, is underneath it and makes no mistake. Just the toe end of the bat went really high in the air and Smale barely had to move. That is the second wicket to fall, and Harris departs empty for 1.
And it's a good wicket again for Morgan, coming at a good time. Obviously another Jim Neesham coming into the attack. Early impact into the game, was one of the overseas players, but to get Harris out, if you are going to shut the scoring down or try and disrupt Lancashire motoring onto a big score, taking wickets is the only way you can do it, really. So it's interesting to sort of see how that's going to work out, and obviously it brings new batter was McDermott. I would have thought will come out now at 4 for Lancashire. So really the nuts and bolts of Lancashire innings is going to be in here with regards to Livingston and McDermott, who are two wonderful, powerful T20 batters.
So Harris departs, caught Smale, bowled Jimmy Neesham for 25. And did I hear the name of Ben McDermott?
You did.
Call?
Yep.
Son of Craig, of course, former Australian fast bowler. Ben McDermott, been about Derbyshire, Hampshire, formerly of.
Yes, won this competition with Hampshire. In fact, it was the final in which Hampshire beat Lancashire to win the Blaster a couple of seasons ago.
In comes Jimmy Neesham and bowls to McDermott, who plays that on the onside, but there's no run. A clip came on I think it must have been my Facebook feed of the infamous Craig McDermott Alan Border showdown. Have you seen that? I think it must have been it would have been the 93 England tour, and Craig McDermott must have said something to AB, which was not a wise move, as Neesham comes in and bowls, and that's ricocheted. Tried to play that in the onside, but ricocheted into the off. There's no run, and Alan Border just said, "Say that again, mate, and you'll be on the first plane back." It was in no uncertain terms. So he wouldn't mince his words even to his own teammates.
Well, Craig Windell was a fiery fast bowler from back in the day. Obviously, I spent my formative years in Australia. And
Talking to me for throughout the series. So the attitude had changed, and that would have been the start of Australia's dominance for what was 18 years in Ashes cricket.
71 for 2. This is over number 9, and it is Andy Gorvin in and bowls to McDermott, who drives through wide mid-off for a single. He moves on to 2. A score moves to 72 for 2. As we creep into the 9th over here at Stanley Park in Blackpool, across BBC Radio Lancashire's FM frequencies. We're on Lancs TV as well, the BBC Sport website tonight with BBC Wales. And Lancashire Lightning batting first. The rain has eased as Livingston looks to try and find a gap through the offside. Livingston, who came away from Headingley on Friday night. Headingley on Friday night with a pretty decent effort with the bat. As he plays this late, runs it down towards third man, jogs through for 1, moves on to 18, 73 for 2.
And you mentioned Glamorgan's depth in squad now, and are they helping them and improving them to be more successful across 3 formats, would you say?
I think so. They've probably been a genuine T20 batter short.
Gorvin in balls, that's muscled out towards the leg side by McDermott to deep mid-wicket for 1, 74 for 2.
Of course, they lost Sam Northeast, who's gone back to his county of origin in Kent, but have brought Sean Dixon, who's primarily seen, well, was a white ball specialist at Somerset, but there's definitely McAndrew is an addition. Jimmy Neesham's only here because Faz Faruqi has gone back on duty for Afghanistan.
Livingston waits as Gorvin's in and bowls, maybe caught between 2 minds as to play that. Livingston then just taps it away, no run.
What I would say, Paul, is in the in-tray of Kieran Carlson this year would have been firstly survival after being promoted to Division 1, which it looks as if they are on the way, but getting through to the quarters, which is going to be far more difficult. And they've not done that since 2017 in this competition, which shows you how tough it's been for them.
Nice ball from Gorvin wide. And
yeah, they're not traditionally a side who, you wouldn't put them down as a T20 side that has had numerous occasions at finals day, let alone the quarterfinals. I don't know how many times have they made it to finals day since the inception of the competition.
Gorvin balls, so Livingston pushed away through the offside for 1, 76 for 2.
The last time they were in the semi-final was 2004. That gives you an indication. That was only the 2nd year of T20 cricket ever. So that just shows, it reinforces your point. So they need to, they've just in the last few years been too inconsistent in this format. So repeat this year. We'll see.
Yeah, one of 4 counties to have never won the T20 Blast. Do you know the other 3?
And who, the other 3? I don't, but give me a second, I'll have a guess. So there's 4 teams who have not won the T20 Blast, and Glamorgan are one of those. Okay, give me a second.
Okay.
Dan Douthwaite continues from the north end to Livingston, who launches one that is clubbed over, long on, and forget chasing that. That has gone some distance for a maximum.
Yeah, like I said before, it's a small ground. Livingston is trying to try and hit as far as he can. Now, I thought that the previous over by Gorvin was really clever. If anything you're going to do to Liam Livingston, you've got to try and hide the ball outside off stump as best as possible, because ultimately he's trying to pull the ball into the leg side off the front foot. He's heavily leg side dominant player. So that over from Gorvin was quite clever. He got done for a wide on the outside off, but also he's trying to hide it, outside off stump. Now, Douthwaite's done the same thing here, but it's just too slow, and it's sort of sat up, and Livingston has clubbed it. So they've either got to go into sort of wide Yorker mode, or they've got to do something slightly different, because ultimately Livingston is going to try and take the ball down from a slog sweep point of view.
Douthwaite trying to hit back then to Livingston, and that this time's gone on the offside. That has flown over deep extra cover for another maximum 12 off 2 for Liam Livingston, who's pelting them to all paths at the moment at Stanley Park.
And that is you got to give that credit to Liam Livingston. That is an incredible cricket shot. So the bowling is not too bad. He is trying to go wide Yorker, which is a good place to bowl at Livingston. He just hasn't executed it, and Livingston had the ability to get under it, and it's gone over cover for 6, which is a hell of a cricket shot.
Trying to get after Douthwaite here, bowls, and that almost decapitated Douthwaite, but it's gone for 4. Smale tries in vain to cut it off, so he's really laying down the gauntlet here in this over, Liam Livingston, and putting pressure on Dan Douthwaite.
Yeah, it's hard. Douthwaite probably doesn't have the pace to really trouble Livingston. Yeah, he's not hitting a Yorker, he's not getting under his feet, so what he's doing is ending up being in his arc. So what he needs to do is either execute better with his Yorker, but also at times maybe use his bouncer or slower bouncer, do something slightly different. But yeah, to be brutally honest, it is not an easy thing to do as a bowler in this ground.
16 off 3 as Douthwaite comes in to Livingston. Oh, that's up in the block hole. That is the ball you were alluding to, and it's a dot ball. Welcome relief for Glamorgan and Dan Douthwaite.
He's almost got to, second guess him. So is he going to go Yorker again? Is he going to try and go slow ball bouncer? But how slow will that be? Can Liam Livingston adjust? He's just got to keep doing something different.
A little hop and he's on his way. Douthwaite comes in, right arm over to Livingston. Again, it's full, and it should be only a single as Smale comes around from long off. 93 for 2.
Really good comeback, couple of balls there. 2 good Yorkers got under the feet of Livingston both at occasions, a dot ball and a push out for 1. So really good execution there, and a good comeback after you've been clubbed out the ground for a couple of times.
This the last ball of Dan Douthwaite's second over. Here he comes, bowls. Oh, and that's dragged on, and he has hit back, has Dan Douthwaite. McDermott trying to flash at 1 outside off stump, played on, and it is Glamorgan's 3rd wicket. Dan Douthwaite under pressure in that over, but finished well and strikes with the 3rd wicket. McDermott falls.
He certainly did. Obviously, he went 6-6-4, and then he had a couple of Yorkers, dot and 1, and then obviously McDermott has tried to club him, trying to get in on the act as well and copy Livingston and hit the ball out of the ground as well. Maybe there's a bet on who's going to hit the ball furthest out of Stanley Park today. It just dragged 1 on, which is a huge wicket for Glamorgan. The last thing they wanted was both McDermott and Livingston to be going at both ends. He would have been under real pressure then.
So halfway mark, and Lancashire 93 for 3. They were 58 for 1 after the power play. So still, Scott Reed, you'd be hoping to get near that 200 mark at the current rates.
Yes, still on, I would have thought. That's for Lancashire. They'll be looking at
definitely. That 200 is that will be the target. As we've seen the scores across here being sort of 180 is not enough really to win at times. So I think 200 with Lancashire, we're looking for 200. Glamorgan, keep them under 200, know that they'll be in the game. Over 200, anything over 10s and over is not just a big chase, isn't it, in general, even if it's a small ground.
Ben Kellaway will bowl the next over, his 3rd. Van der Hoekten's bowled 2, McAndrew's bowled 2, Douthwaite's bowled 2, and then 1 each for Neesham and Gorvin. There's Kellaway to Livingston, back and across, and then just gently drops it away into the offside for 1, and takes his score on to 37. And Lancashire Lightning move on to 94 for 3 as we progress into the 11th over here. So Matthew Hurst is the new batter. He's settling into his crease now. Keeper crouching down behind the stumps. Kellaway comes over the wicket for his spin and bowls to Hurst off the back foot, punched away through the offside. Gets him off the mark straight away. Takes a single, moves to 1. 95 for 3.
So my guess is Durham, Gloucester and Yorkshire.
Oh,
2 of those are correct.
Yeah, Gloucester have won, haven't they? 2 seasons ago.
Kellaway to Livingston. That's
Durham, Yorkshire, correct.
Through for a single. Durham and Yorkshire are correct. So Durham, Yorkshire, Glamorgan, and 1 other county. won the T20. There is Kellaway. That's Hurst, who's off the back foot and hits it down the ground. Actually hits Liam Livingston at the non-striker's end and gets through for a single.
Middlesex.
Middlesex have won it.
Middlesex have 20 years ago.
Probably, yeah. 97
Middlesex must have won it back in the early 2000s.
Must have done, yeah. Yep. It's a North Group team.
Derbyshire.
Correct. Livingston will push that away into the offside and through for a single. And Livingston moves on to 39, 98 for 3. Lancashire Lightning have got to finals day 10 times. They've only managed the one victory. I think only Hampshire have got there more than Lancashire. I think Hampshire may have got to finals day 11 times. It's Kellaway for Glamorgan to Hurst off the back foot, tapped into the onside, through for a quick single, and actually they'll come back for 2. The throw comes in from the bowler who went to go on field after his own bowling and then hurtled it towards the stumps at the bowler's end. Nobody there backing up, and Hurst can come back for 2, and that brings up 3 figures for Lancashire Lightning as well. 100 on the board. Hurst moves to 4. Livingston's on 39, and I've lost track of how many overs we've had here now.
11.
Yep. Thank you.
The game is evenly poised, isn't it? 100 for 3 after 11, 9 overs to go. 10s gets us to 190, doesn't it? Lancashire would probably be relatively pleased with 190, but they want 200, wouldn't they, above sort of thing. So anything sort of above sort of 190 to the 200s would be, I think Lancashire would be a lot happier with.
That was Paul Horton, sponsored by Haribo.
Oh, I brought them. I aim to please. Looking after the troops.
Did well there to give us your intake on where the game's at while you were munching on the Haribo.
While having a Coca-Cola bottle.
Yeah, you did well there. Well done. Good effort.
Jimmy Neesham, of course, has been round the world in franchise cricket, and he will continue. Will take the place, I should have said, of Dan Douthwaite from the north end. Here he comes, Neesham, coming in and bowls it full and firmly struck to Will Smale, who's at mid-off. Another one probably needs a bit of runs. Will Smale has seemed that Glamorgan, if Carlson doesn't get runs, then they do tend to wobble early doors. Questions possibly, is 3 the best position for Kellaway? Well, we'll see. He might not come in 3. He did on Thursday and Friday at Worcester as Neesham whirls round. Here at Stanley Park, coming in to Matty Hurst. Again, it's full. It's a pitch and it's caught. Short cover by Kieran Carlson. That's just stood up. And Carlson, well, he was going to make a mistake there. The captain takes the catch and Hurst falls 4 down. And we spoke about getting 10s to get to 190 or 200. I suppose what you can't do is give away your wickets, and that's where Glamorgan can make inroads in this match. And that was the 4th. The Lancashire 101 for 4.
Yeah, it's obviously a big wicket again. They'll be wanting to keep, as I mentioned earlier, to keep taking wickets anyway to try and naturally score dry the scoreboard up and slow the scoring rate down. Yeah, with Livingston still at the crease, Lancashire will be really comfortable. But you end up into a position now a little bit at 100 for 4. You do a little bit of a rebuild for a couple overs, or Livingston just keep playing the way he normally played. He's 40 off 21, so he wants to really go. Moores is, he's been a shining light throughout the start of this competition. He's such a baby-faced young cricketer, but he's been a real starlight. He's clearly got the world at his feet. He's been but also you're into, Moore's not played a huge amount of cricket. You're into Harry Singh, also learning his trade. So, on one hand, Glamorgan, we think actually we can expose Lancashire a little bit here if we keep getting wickets. And Livy will want obviously someone to sort of get in with him, and if he can carry on, he can single-handedly win the game.
Thought it might have evaded Carlson, who's not the tallest, and I say that with every respect, but I lost the flight with the bar just in front of us here. but he leapt up, did Carlson, and took the catch. So this is Moores, who plays slightly uppishly towards mid-off, where Will Smale is fielding. Livingstone 40 of 21.
It's good captaincy from here from Carson as well, obviously bringing the field up as well. You now got a mid-wicket, a mid-on, a mid-off, a cover and a backward point. So it's 5 in the ring. Bring the field up, try and put a bit of pressure on, against young Moores. Neesham's got 1.3 overs. He's got 2 for 3. Real impact with the ball today. Not easy to follow that previous over that Liam Livingstone
Neesham
whacked.
To Moores, who chops at that, and it goes behind point for a single. 17-year-old England under 19 product, Joe Moores. I suspect a lot being said about this young player.
Definitely, yeah. As Paul mentioned, he's had a pretty impressive start to his career. At 17, you don't want to get too carried away, do you, with a player of that age? But got a 50 in the T20 Blast game against the Notts Outlaws a couple of weeks ago. But debut season for him.
5th ball, penultimate ball of the over. Neesham into Livingstone, who just tries to direct that down, and he does so. They take a single to the man at short third.
Hits the ball so cleanly. He's a wicket keeper as well, but he hasn't been keeping wicket. It will be Matthew Hurst that will keep wicket. He's outstanding in the field. So yeah, it's been a toughish start to their group campaign for Lancashire Lightning with just the 1 win so far, but he's been a real highlight.
This is Jimmy Neesham coming in to young Joe Moores balls, and that's played firmly, but there won't be a run possible as it was played too firmly towards Sean Dixon, end of the over. And Glamorgan's slightly with those wickets, partially putting the brakes on Lancashire here.
Yeah, fighting back. Well, Glamorgan, obviously the previous over from this end when Douthwaite went for a few, didn't it? So Neesham's incredible figures.
Just 3 runs off that over.
In the circumstances of the game, going really for not a lot at all. What is his figures? Two for 5 off 2. He's going 2.5 and over in a game that's really going at 10s really. So he got 2 overs left. This can Glamorgan get Livingstone out and really sort of break up Lancashire is what they'll be trying to do.
Livingstone's on 41 not out off 21 deliveries, 22 deliveries, as that's pushed up towards mid-on as he takes another single, moves on to 42. This will be Ben Kellaway's 4th and final over. He's gone for 21 as well, which is a pretty impressive return. Bowled in the power play, they opened the bowling in the game. So a very impressive return from Ben Kellaway if he can get through this over. It's pushed through a bit flatter and quicker to Moores. He's off the back foot, slaps it up to mid-on for a single. Moves to 2.
He was with the Lions, of course, in Australia over the winter. 2 are playing today, which has meant the absence of Tribe and Mason Crane.
Kellaway balls to Livingstone. That's just eased away into the offside. They flirt with the idea of 1. Moores is sent back. Throw comes up towards the keeper's end. 105 for 4 it remains. We're in the 13th over. So far Kellaway's tied Livingstone down here. He's in and bowling. Livingstone goes for a swing, and it's hammered up towards mid-off for 1. Livingstone moves to 43. It's 106 for 4. Brings Moores back on strike. That's brightened up a little bit. We had quite a heavy shower, but we played through it, and it seems to have cleared up. Again, quick and flat to Moores. That's pushed back towards Kellaway. This is a terrific final over for him so far. 105 for 4. He's got 1 ball left of it. In comes Kellaway, balls. Reverse attempted by Moores, and he gets plenty on that. The reverse sweep over the stand, over the wall, and into the trees again. Kellaway can't get through the over without conceding a boundary, but it's because of a terrific piece of invention from Joe Moores. He moves on to 8, 112 for 4, 13 overs gone.
Hell of a cricket shot, really, from nowhere. He's just patted a few balls around, isn't he? First 4 or 5 balls. And then from nowhere, he's just sort of unleashed a reverse sleek sweep slog, really. And it's gone for 6 out of the ground. An incredible shot. And that's obviously what the excitement around the beauty of what Moores is offering as a young 17-year-old. No fear into the game. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Because that was more than a tidy over up until that point. 9 coming off it in the end, which moves Lancashire to 112 for 4. The end of Ben Kellaway's allotted 4 overs. Always a risk when with the reverse, obviously, but he got hold of that.
He's played that shot quite a bit already in his fledgling career. He's played a couple of reverse sweeps at Old Trafford, which have gone out towards the tram stop and have gone a mile. So it's obviously a favourite shot.
Neesham to Livingston. That's pelted, but only as far as Carlson on the offside. And it's a dot ball. The other theme, we were talking about depth, but the other theme this year, the last couple of years, has been the development of homegrown talent for Glamorgan, which has been an issue the last 10 to 15 years since the golden years, if you like, from the early 90s to early noughties, as Neesham comes in, bowls to Livingston. Oh, that's a wide ball. That's a horrid ball down leg side. But there has been a nucleus of players just to add to those foreign imports, the likes of Tribe. He's not a Welshman, but was in Cardiff University. Kellaway, Tom Norton, who took a hat-trick against Somerset recently. So that is a big positive. Henry Hurl and Will Smale are the others playing today. Neesham coming in, right arm over, bangs that one in short and bounces to Cook, and it's been called a wide. It's a bit of a sloppy over.
I think he's a bit unlucky there, really. I think he's a bit unlucky. It's not a bad piece of bowling. He's dug it in to slow a ball bouncer, which has done Livingston, who's then left it. And maybe it was a wide, but I think he's really unlucky, you know, really unlucky with that piece. Yes, he's missed his Yorker for another wide down the leg side, but it's a bit unfortunate for me there.
And that's the batter speaking as well. Feeling very generous today, aren't you?
Well, maybe it was outside off stump.
In comes Jimmy Neesham, and that's launched over long off for a maximum, clubbed off the bat of Liam Livingston all the way, and really got hold of that. That flew over Will Smale for 6. So he hasn't got his radar going in this over, Jimmy Neesham. Bit of an expensive one. As Livingston moves to 49. Jimmy Neesham with Lancashire Lightning, 120 for 4. Neesham is in from the north end, and that's full and whipped on the onside through square, and that is Liam Livingston's 50. And a good knock it has been as well. And we've seen the full wagon wheel from Livingston across on the on and off side.
Yeah.
50 from 28 balls.
Yeah, to 28 ball. 50 is an incredible knock by Livingston. Obviously, clearly cleared the ropes a lot. Had some huge, powerful sixes, and he's last couple overs he's knocked a couple round as well, just to give Moores a couple of overs to get in as well.
Neesham to Moores coming around. That's not timed, and it's hit to Henry Hurl at point. There's no run. The point in terms of the youngsters is an awful lot of these counties cannot just pick and choose from where they would like. So there is a purpose to developing youth. I mean, we only have to look at Gloucestershire 2 years ago winning the T20. I think 6 or 7 were homegrown. They were unfancied to win that competition as Neesham comes in and bowls, and that dribbles a couple of times through to keeper Chris Cook.
It's slow ball, that slow ball bounce, it's sat in the surface again. Yeah, well bowled again by Neesham. Yeah, I think obviously if you're a Glamorgan or you're a young, if you're a county, you want to naturally produce your own cricketers. I think the fans or the members would like that and want that. But I think there's always this age-old balance between competing and producing your own cricketers, and that ebbs and flows depending on how well the team's doing, really, doesn't it? And that seems to go in cycles.
In comes Jimmy Neesham coming around to Moores, and this could be caught on the perimeter, and it is taken. And there were two out there. Douthwaite was one of them,
I think
and
he took the catch.
There was one of that instance where one looks at the other, but it was taken in the end. So Moores falls.
He tried to clip it over the deep mid-wicket boundary. It sort of held up into the breeze a little bit, didn't it? Sort of held, and obviously deep backward square. McAndrew and Douthwaite looked at each other. You to me, me to you, me to you. You have it, I'll have it, you have it. And then McAndrew realised that the last thing he wanted to do was run into Douthwaite, so he stood off him and he held it, and he held a chance. 121 for 5. The game evenly poised here. Really evenly poised with regards to where Lancashire are and what sort of total they're looking at getting.
Yeah, well, a lot rests on Livingston now, and he needs to see this one home right to the end.
Yeah, I think Livingston will probably carry on in the same vein, I would have thought. Keep going on. It's interesting, they look like they're targeting the north end where we are sitting with regards to hitting the ball out the ground.
Livingston is on strike. That's hit back down the ground. Govin coming in to bowl this 15th over. 122 for 5.
So there's no sixes have been hit down the ground bowling from the south end. Livingston here was over deep backward square, so the wind coming into our face.
Govin bowls to Singh, that clipped out to mid-wicket for 1. Gets off the mark, 123 for 5. Livingston's 50 coming up, as you mentioned, 28 balls, 4 sixes and 2 fours. He's back on strike. Govin for Glamorgan balls. Livingston leans into it, pushes that nicely away through the covers for a single. 52 to Liam Livingston. 124 for 5. We're halfway through the 15th over. Lancashire Lightning put into bat by Glamorgan. Harry Singh's on strike. Govin in balls. That's flashed out towards the leg side. He's not quite got the connection he was hoping for, I don't think. Dan Douthwaite comes spinning round to his right from deep square leg. Singh comes back for 2. He moves on to 3. 126 for 5. 2 balls remaining of the 15th over. Andy Govin for Glamorgan balls to Singh. That's it back towards Govin on the bounce. And leans away to his right to field, no run.
I'm not sure how many people or Lanc supporters would have thought Singh would be playing this sort of role in this lineup for Lancashire with regards to the names they have. He seems to his bowling seems to have been as effective as his batting.
Govin balls to Singh. It's off the back foot and pushed up to mid-off for a single. He'll keep the strike. It's the end of the over. 15 gone. Harry Singh's on 4. Liam Livingston's on 52. Lancashire 127 for 5 with 5 overs remaining. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, he's probably had a bigger impact so far with the ball than he has with the bat.
Yeah, well, he's the opener batting in the championship when
he has
opportunity. Yeah, so he opened batting with the championship, and then obviously he's bowled some off spin in this, but he's a batsman, isn't he? Maybe someone who can bowl a few overs, to lengthen the batting order. Really is not one of the hitters. He may. But it's interesting to see his role and how he's taken to that and how he's in this side. I think for me, Balderston is, I don't think Balderston played much white ball cricket over the last couple of years, but an incredible performer for Lancashire. Always seems underrated for me as a cricketer.
Dan Douthwaite to bowl his last over, 2 for 34. Singh, and that is fielded by Douthwaite. It's a dot ball.
Yeah, I think Balderston's probably had the case for being player of the season for the last couple of years for Lancashire.
Yeah, we bat and ball and asked to do big rolls, asked to open the batting in, you know, in first in championship cricket, and always impacts with the ball in hand. Is a real wonderful cricketer to have in your lineup.
Coming in is Douthwaite to Singh, slightly short of a length, pulled, but only a single on offer. Pulled into the onside. 128 for 5.
And we'll imagine, obviously, there's 3 overs from this end. We're in one of them now as we're heading towards the north end, where most of the sixes have been hit with the breeze. So Livingston will be targeting now. These are the overs that Livingston will target. This over, he'll miss probably one, and then the next 2 that are facing us, hitting with the breeze.
Trying to get after Dan Douthwaite, and that was wide. Yes, it was indicated so by the umpire. Even though the wides tightened up, that was wayward, outside off stump. 129 for 5 in the 16th. Lancashire Lightning. Douthwaite to Singh. Bowls, full toss, and that has been treated accordingly by Harry Singh. Wasn't a great ball from Dan Douthwaite, and the punishment was dished out.
Yeah, full toss. He's obviously gone for a straight Yorker, which isn't bad bowling. I'll be really honest with you. He just missed it, and it's been clipped into the leg side. It's hard bowling from this end, as we've seen today. We've seen, obviously, this end isn't. You know, you're running into a bit into the breeze, and the batters are targeting with the breeze. But obviously, Lancashire are going to hope that they keep moving on here. They sort of pivotal one. 35 for 5. It's not a huge score at the moment for Lancashire. They're going to be wanting to be over 180 plus, as we've said. They were on for 200
at one point. Yeah.
So Glamorgan have done really well.
Yeah, they put the brakes on as Douthwaite comes into Singh, bowls, and that's wide again. Yes, it is. So this isn't a great over from a Glamorgan perspective. Just not getting his arrows right at the moment is Douthwaite, who's taken 2 wickets, 136 for 5. In he comes to Singh once more. And that's launched. That could be caught by Smail, isn't it? Just thought, and he just crashes into the advertising boardings and takes a few fans out with him for good measure. I think he's okay. Yeah, just I thought for a moment the ball was going to plug, but it didn't. Just evaded Smail for 4 runs, 140 for 5.
Yeah, slightly wide, over cover again. At one stage I thought it was going to be held in the boundary. It just seemed to zip on and run for 4.
In comes Douthwaite, penultimate ball of the over. Is that wide? Yes, it is. So this is an expensive one from Dan Douthwaite.
You can see what he's trying to do here. He's trying to hide the ball wide Yorker. Livingston is a powerful player. He's trying to hide the ball. They've got a short third man, a backward point, and then a deep cover and a long off. He's trying to hide the ball. But ultimately, what he could do is gamble a little bit and bowl under Livingston's feet.
Well, let's see as Douthwaite comes in. It's full, and it's whacked into the onside. Bit of a misfield, but it's not costly. Only a single on offer there. 142 for 5. Yeah, we were mentioning at one point 10s would have got them through to 200, Lancashire that is. So this the end of the last ball of the 16th. They'll be trying to get north of 180. In comes Douthwaite, bowls, and that's launched for 6 over, long on by Singh. So that is the end of Dan Douthwaite's 4 overs, the end of an expensive one as well. The Lightning have moved to 148, so 21 of that over. That could prove crucial when we come back in the context of this game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it, obviously, for Douthwaite, but it's this end that they're targeting. You're hitting with the breeze, as we've mentioned throughout it's 4 overs to go, but a huge over of 21 has just swung it back a little bit to Lancashire now with regards to that. You obviously sing with a lusty blow from nowhere a little bit there, 6. And he's a big player, isn't he? He's a big man, really. He's a much improved cricketer, although his championship stats have not found the form yet in the championship. But he's a much improved young player. So
I was at Old Trafford a few weeks ago while they were training, and they were doing some range hitting out in the middle, and I was watching Harry Singh hit it, and yeah, he can hit it a long way.
Yeah, I was speaking to a friend who is we'll name nameless, but he's in the game, and the reports are that Harry Singh, a much improved player, and is was doing well. He came across really well, so that's why he's probably forced his way into this side and into this lineup.
Plus injuries and stuff, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, a little bit, and a little niche in that role, and obviously Lancashire just missing. Obviously Wells would be in the lineup and would be at the top of the order and be bowling a bit of extra spin, so he's probably playing that role. Lank's not sure how well Moores would have done as a 17-year-old going in, so yeah, good luck to him. You get an opportunity, and who knows what he might become. It's
going to be Nathan McAndrew from the southern end of the ground. He's into Liam Livingston, down on one knee, goes for a big hit, and that'll be 6. Thuds into the advertising board, out towards deep backward square leg. Terrific connection from Livingston. Brings up the 150 as well, that for Lancashire Lightning. It's 152, correction, 154 for 5. Livingston moves to 69.
McAndrew's a wonderful cricketer. But it's a poor ball. He's bowling from the end. There's nothing's been hit over your head that end. He's bowled a leg stump half volley. Only to the only area that's been hit. It's a poor delivery. 154
for 5. In and balls. Slower ball. Livingston takes it on out towards long on, clears the field up, and it's halfway up the bank. And there's a couple of school kids, I think, doing their best to try and take a catch on that bank on the far side. I think 1 or 2 took a bit of a tumble. Back-to-back 6s for Liam Livingston. And Lancashire moved to 160 for 5, and Livingston now 75 from 35 deliveries. 6, followed by 6 off the bat of Livingston, who has been he's carried the innings, hasn't he? McAndrew bowls, and that'll be 6 more. That's out the ground again, out towards the leg side. That's over the stand and into the trees. There'll be plenty of cricket balls to be found there today from Lancashire, and I'm sure from Glamorgan when they have a bat a little later on. Third 6 on the spin for Liam Livingston. 1 out to backward square leg, 1 over long on, and 1 walloped over mid-wicket. 166 for 5.
Is that 3 6s in a row?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on here. Livy will not be holding back now, and he is taking the game away from Glamorgan sort of almost single-handedly.
81 to Livingston. Goes again, Livingston, up towards long on and out. Quite get a hold of it perhaps as much as he was hoping for on that occasion, but went for the shot again. Caught at long on, and relief for Glamorgan, but a highly entertaining innings by Liam Livingston, and the supporters inside Stanley Park appreciate that. A standing ovation for the Lancashire batter. He's gone, but a great knock. Lancashire's 6 down now.
Yeah, it's a hell of an innings from Livingston. Was 81 off 36 balls, is it? 37 balls, something like that. 81 off 37. Yeah, it's an incredible innings. Incredible innings, and he is almost single-handedly held this Lancashire innings together, and heads the reason why he goes so much money in the IPL and why he's in all the T20 competitions, and he played T20 cricket and he's an international superstar for England, or was an international player for England.
166 for 6, Lancashire. Livingston's done his work for the day, at least with the bat. As Balderson's on strike. Tough ass to follow, isn't it? Punch it to mid-on for a single. 167 for 6. 1 ball left of the 17th over, and then 3 overs remaining.
Are you surprised he's in the international wilderness at the moment?
No, I wouldn't say I was surprised. I think, there's only 11 players to play T20 cricket at any one stage for England, and there's some wonderful wild ball cricketers in the England setup, has been for a number of years.
McAndrew to Singh, up on his toe, standing tall in the crease, and plays a nice shot, punch through mid-on. keeps the strike as well. So that's the end of the 17th over. Singh on 12, Balderson's on 1, and Lancashire 168 for 6.
I only ask because the question was asked on a well-known podcast not too long ago regarding his current situation.
Well, his current situation is as any other cricketer, isn't it? He's a guy who's been playing international cricket. He's a wonderful, powerful striker with the ball, and he then, if he gets in good form, he should be picked again. I don't really see why we have to strike a line through people. Yeah, people come and form comes in and out at different times and different tournaments and different stages. So there's no reason why he can't play international cricket again. I don't see any of that. Maybe after some of the things he possibly have said, it may not help him, but who knows?
Neesham is in, and that's cut well fielded by Carlson, which possibly stopped a boundary there for the bowling of Neesham. Balderson is on strike.
That is the most runs in by a player here in T20 cricket at Blackpool. That innings from Liam Livingstone, going past Stephen Croft's 61 in a T20 match in Blackpool in 2022. It's also the joint most sixes in an innings in T20 cricket for Lancashire as well.
In is Neesham, and that's played into the offside, only a single.
He draws level with Luke Wells with 8 sixes in the innings. He features 3 times in the top 5, Liam Livingstone, for most sixes in an innings in T20 cricket for Lancashire.
So if Lancashire are going to win, over 16 and 17 could prove crucial, as Neesham comes in to Harry Singh from the north end, bangs that one in short. That is the one for the over. Was that 41 in 2? I think I made it. We'll get confirmation, but it's certainly, if that is the case, those 2 overs would have done a lot for the cause. 170 for 6. In the 18th, in comes the New Zealander Jimmy Neesham to Harry Singh. Comes in, bowls, that's launched, and there is a man out at long on, just a single, and that is Sean Dixon.
41.
41, yeah. Yeah, so it could come down to over 16 and 17. We'll see. 2 to go. 3 to go, rather, after this one. Neesham coming around to Balderson. Comes in and bowls short of a length that time, but Balderson was through the shot early doors, and it is a single as it was slapped out into the onside. Still looking at 200 here.
Yeah, Lancashire should be looking for 200. Obviously, 13 balls to go in the innings, 172 for 6. They'd be looking, run a ball, get some 185. So, Glamorgan will be looking at that. Lancashire will be looking to get up to the 200 mark. I think they'd be disappointed if they can't close the innings out for less than 200, Glamorgan.
Neesham to Singh. That's launched, and that's going to be another maximum. That's going to hit us on the media tent. It was straight and true off the bat of Harry Singh. That is the end of the over. It moves the Lightning to 178 for 6.
Yeah, what you've realised is he sort of stood and delivered, really, Singh, hasn't he? Sort of stood and clubbed it, and it just carried. It just kept going and going and going. And what we have noticed are the balls that have been hit back towards us, the ball has just kept going. Yeah, Neesham's thinking that's going to be caught mid-off, and it's just not. It just sailed over and landed on top of our gazebo.
Gazebo, yeah. Executive marquee. Something along those lines. Dathwaite is in and bowling a slow ball, which is wide and called a wide. Neesham's finished for the day. So he's bowled 4 overs and has picked up 3 for 24.
Far too many wides for Glamorgan. Far more than Kieran Carlson would have wanted.
Yeah, that's Dathwaite's 4th wide. Dathwaite bowls again and driven away square by Balderson. Now comes hurtling back, looking for the second. Throw comes in and the dive allows him to safely add 2 more to Lancashire's total. 178 for 6.
Yeah, I think that might have been 180.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, 181 rather.
181, there we go. Here comes Douthwaite, bowls to Balderson. It's hammered away through the offside. And he'll hurry back for a couple. Balderson now moves on to 7. And the score to 183 with 3 deliveries into the 19th. No, 2 deliveries into the 19th over. The first was a Y, wasn't it? So 2 deliveries into the 19th. 183 for 6. Balderson's on 7. And Douthwaite for Glamorgan. Slow ball again, which Balderson managed to squirt down towards third man for 4. And they're pushing to the 190 mark here. Lancashire 187 for 6 now. Boundary for Balderson. 187 for 6. He moves to 11 from 6. Sings 20 from just 12 balls at the non-striker's end. 3 balls left of the penultimate over of the innings. Douthwaite bowls again, pace off, and this time, oh, it's called a wide.
Oh.
So that's his 5th wide.
Yeah, this is really, really expensive now.
Keeper Cook with his hands on his hips, whether because he's disappointed with the fact that's another wide, or whether he thinks that may have been a touch harsh. Difficult to tell from where we are. Douthwaite balls again to Balderson. That's thumped through mid-on. And he takes 1 run, moves to 11. Correction, 12. George Balderson, 189 for 6. Brings Singh on strike. Right, we've seen him hit a couple of clean shots, haven't we, so far? Got a couple of balls left in this 19th over. Singh's on strike, Douthwaite in, bowls. It's hammered away through the offside. It's fielded inside the circle of cover. There's a dot ball. Not been too many of those around of late.
I think I feel a little bit for Douthwaite again, having watched the replay on that wide. It was, well, it wasn't, so I think that's probably the easiest way to describe it.
Fair enough.
It wasn't a wide, so you can understand his frustration.
He's in to Singh, tries to whip it out towards the leg side. It's a dot ball as it deflects off his pad. Well, maybe had a bit of bad luck in that over for the wide. He's ended it with a couple of dot balls, so he's got out the over without too much further damage done. So 19 overs gone. Can Lancashire get to 200 here? 189 for 6. They've got 6 balls left. Balderson's on strike, he's on 12. Singh's on 20. And 1 over to go. I've gone deal with the flap, boys, don't worry about it. We've got a stray flap.
In comes McAndrew, and that is again going to be called a wide. So these are proving expensive for Glamorgan, Paul.
Yeah, in the shortest format of the game, obviously your extras is a huge thing, and if you can be clean and the less extras of the game, big swing in regards to extra balls, runs, but also the extra balls that are bowled, in essence, can be a breaker in a game of a small margins when there's 20 or 30 runs normally in a game of cricket of T20 nature.
So here we go again. McAndrew, that's banged in short, that's the bouncer. So he good comeback there from McAndrew. As Scott Reed has dealt with that.
It's all part of the fun, isn't
Thanks,
it?
Scott.
It's okay.
All part of the service.
It is. Part of the experience of Blackpool. The flap on the tent cover.
McAndrew coming around to Balderson. bowls, and that's up in the block hole, and that might, oh, it's a brilliant effort by one-handed effort by Carlson, who's taken a tumble. And he's still down, nursing. Might have banged his shoulder there. He's wincing in pain. He's up. It was a brilliant one-handed effort. He was backpedaling as the Glamorgan captain. He's just taking a moment to compose himself as the trainer comes on. So Balderson just got enough on it. 192 for 6. Just, yeah, nursing that left shoulder, I think, as we see the replay. Brilliant effort.
Oh, it's a nasty fall, isn't it? It's quite a heavy fall.
Yeah, hopefully the Glamorgan captain is okay.
Not helped by the fact he obviously had his arm stretched, didn't he?
He's
to
back
try and take
up
the catch
on his feet, so that is good from the visitors' point of view. They don't lose the captain, who will be opening the Glamorgan's reply. 192 for 6. Balderson is 14. Singh 20 from 14 balls. This is McAndrew.
It's a great effort to try and take the catch as well.
Coming around is the overseas player. That's lent on it, and is it going to be? It's sped to the offside boundary. Has it been saved? Yes, it has. I think it has. Brilliantly stopped right out in the deep.
It's a brilliant bit of fielding. It's a full-length dive, and he managed to keep it in, and then only keep it to 2. It's a brilliant bit of fielding. Saved a couple of runs, but as you mentioned before, there's 9 wides in the game, so 9 wides, 1.3 overs extra to score runs off, takes the score down to 183. You're going to have some sort of extras, but 9 wides is too many, really. If they lose by 10 or 15 runs in the game, they're going to feel that the wides are a challenge.
3 balls to go, bar extras. 194 for 6. McAndrew to Balderson, and that's on the full again, but it goes straight to deep point that time. Just a single on offer. 195, approaching the 200 mark as we envisaged originally at the halfway point. Just a rejig of the field as Harry Singh is on strike. Long on and long off, right in front of us here at the media tent as McAndrew comes in. That's launched over deep wicket. Well, you can't do anything about that. Straight and true for 6 again, once more, and the 200 is up for the Lancashire Lightning. And psychologically, that makes a big difference. Just dragged down short, and it was ferociously hit by Harry Singh.
Very much so, and I Scott, Reid had mentioned before about Harry Singh's power, and he does look like he's got an improved power game. He's as I said, he's a big man. He must be 6 foot plus. He's got long levers on the ball, so he should really have a powerful sort of impact.
Last ball then of the 20, that's launched, but is that going to fall short? It is. Smale is underneath it, and Smale is going to take the catch. The last ball of the 20 overs, but Lancashire can be pleased with their efforts. They've got over the 200 mark, and it is 201 for 6. 201 for 7 at the end as Smale takes the catch.
Yeah, I think Lancashire should be really happy with that. Obviously being put in on a surface, the club ground, obviously getting 200. I think, great little cameo by Harry Singh at the end there with 3 sixes, 3 lusty blows. And George Balderson chipped in again. A little partnership at the end for Lancashire. Just tipped them over that 200 mark. But obviously the story of the Lancashire innings is the power from Liam Livingstone. 8 sixes in his innings of 81 off 37 balls, striking 218. The stats, there's a lot of statistics in T20 cricket with regards to the nature of innings and partnerships and stuff like that. But you have an individual player gets over 75, the percentage of your win rate ratio in that is quite high. I'd be surprised. Glamorgan they've got to have someone who played innings of Livingstone's note to get them close, haven't they? Livingstone's got 81 off 37 balls. It's a match winning innings.
Yeah, and they probably look back 2 overs, over 16 and 17, where 21 and 20 consecutive overs, as well as the extras, as we alluded to. Albeit, Glamorgan chased down 203 to win on Thursday, so they can chase down small outground. You only need a couple of overs and momentum. The pendulum swings in your way, so we shall see.
Jimmy Neesham 3 for 24 from his 4 overs, 2 wickets for Dan Douthwaite, but he was expensive. He bowled 5 wides. Nathan McAndrew 2 for 53 from 4 overs, and Ben Kellaway, a little nod to him, 4 overs for 30. He opened the bowling as well, so a pretty fine effort from the Glamorgan spinners. So 201 for 7 from 20 overs. Lancashire Lightning have finished on. It will be a target of 202 to win for Glamorgan.
Kieran Carlson. One for Will Smale, who slightly short of runs. He played a supporting role in that mammoth 109 innings from Kieran Carlson. Highest score 40 in that game. Slightly short of runs, but it will be Carlson on strike, and it will be the bowling of Luke Wood from the opposite end to as Carlson bowls, and that's played aggressively in the onside. It's going to be stopped on the boundary, so only a single as it's flung back from deep mid-wicket.
An interesting field here from the start with full Wood. Obviously change of field now, but here for Carson he had a deep backward square and a deep mid-wicket. Obviously third man up. That has now changed. For Smale, it has brought the mid-wicket in, and his third man has dropped down, or what the Lancashire employ is a bit of a wide third man backward point. Third man that's gone down.
As Wood starts his run up, bangs that in, but that's going to go all the way over deep backward square for a maximum. And that was just all about timing. Using the pace was Will Smale, and the first maximum of Glamorgan's innings.
And this has been the area where they've hit sixes, so it has been either behind square, bowling from south end down towards the north end. Behind square the ball's gone for six, or it's gone over mid-off and mid-on, coming this way when the ball's been bowled from the other end. The proportion of sixes this side.
Yeah.
Nothing's been hit the other end, ever.
No, I remember the game here against Notts, and Alex Hales was batting for Notts. The same thing happened. It was that side when the bowling comes from the south end of the ground that the batters were targeted.
Wood, left arm bowler, and that's a premeditated ramp, and that's gone high, and it's gone all the way. Well, I thought that was going to plug for a while, but he got enough on it. It went extremely high in the air off the bat of Will Smale, but it's second successive six in this over for Glamorgan, 24 for none.
And again, it's that carry. He's done to ramp it. He's got tight on it, but he's got enough on it. But the wind has just carried it down towards us, and has gone for six. And that's what they're looking to do, and hit this way.
So this is already a very good over for Glamorgan. 13 off it. Still 3 balls to go. Wood coming in to Smale, who just nudges that one down, and it's a single taken. Carlson will be on strike. Wood, who obviously plenty of experience, played around the country. Notts, Worcester, Northants as well. As he starts his run of bowls, and that's lofted high in the air all the way over deep backward squares. Another one that's gone over the perimeter, over the stand. 3 sixes in that over, an expensive one for Lancashire. And Glamorgan off to a flyer, 31 for none after 2, and there's still 1 to go, miscounted 1 to go, so it's still a very, very good over for the visitors.
And I think obviously the answering of the question regards to who's going to stand up and potentially play an innings of note to like
the captain
Livingston
himself,
with regards to Carlson himself, but also, as I mentioned, the bowlers bowling, Balderson bowling from this end, Luke Wood coming bowling with the breeze and with the potential breeze to bring the ball back, but also what that is doing is swinging the ball back into the right-hander, who is then helping on his way to target with the breeze and hitting sixes into the area that everyone has targeted throughout the day.
Carlson trying to go after Lancashire in the first 6 overs. That is a wide. We saw a few of them in the Glamorgan innings. Just dribbled a few times through to the keeper.
I was watching that Glamorgan game when Carlson was batting, and I've got to say, I was thinking, I think he might enjoy Blackpool. And he kind of had that side of my mind.
Regardless of the ground, wants to score quickly anyway, so it's no surprise he's going to try and go after the bowlers in the first 6 overs, try to get on the front foot early doors. 32 for none. This is the last ball. Carlson, has chipped it. Oh, he's got away with one. Just squirmed on the offside, and they come through for a single. That
it's a no ball. It's a front foot no ball.
Free hit.
So this is proving very expensive. Glamorgan 34 for none in the second. A lot has been made about Kieran Carlson, whether in fact his name has been mentioned in dispatches in terms of getting a 100 contract this season. I can't understand why he hasn't had one. Not necessarily for Welsh Fire, could be anyone of course, but I am surprised as Wood comes in to Smail, who launches one all across the ground. They only take a single, but that is the end of an expensive over as Glamorgan move on to 35. 24, Paul, coming off that Luke Wood over.
Yeah, and you would expect that the EFC Welsh Fire would have a good look at him because that's where they're based, I would have thought. You know, it's the same, you know, who is DOC of Glamorgan Cricket and who is DOC of Welsh Fire?
Well, Mark Wallace, of course, is Director of Cricket at Glamorgan.
Does he sit on the board at
I'm not sure he does. I'm not sure he does, but I would have thought those conversations must be happening. And
Gary Kirst.
So you'd have thought that he would be mentioned in that dialogue.
Here comes Balderson over the wicket and balls. That's in towards the leg side. It's guesswork for me. I don't know if anyone's out there or not. It's out towards deep mid wicket.
Yep.
Okay.
But certainly with a good blast now, you know, the chance to get in, you know, is ultimately what players are trying to do and trying to get that opportunity.
Especially that it's one-day cup period in August, and Glamorgan won that 2 years ago, so probably you would say he deserves a shot at it.
Here is Balderson. Carlson on 18, 36 without loss. In and balls. He goes leg side again. Out towards deep mid wicket, and he's been caught. I was waiting for some reaction from the Lancashire players because I can't see that boundary out towards our right, but he's been caught out at deep mid wicket, and Carlson departs, and a great breakthrough for Lancashire Lightning. He's gone for 18 and Balderson strikes 36 for 1.
It's a huge blow for Lancashire. Brilliant wicket for Lancashire. Obviously to then get Carlson the power, danger house. He went sort of square in with the breeze. He just didn't get anywhere near it. He'd probably be kicking himself, to be honest with you. He hasn't waited another over and gone with Luke Wood into the, you know, gone with the breeze if you're going to go leg side. But it's a big wicket for Lancashire.
Is it Joe Morse out there? I've got a replay, but it's on delay. So let's have a look who's out there in the deep. I know it's McDermott. Ben McDermott taking the catch out of deep mid wicket. Well, that was a sigh of relief amongst the Lancashire players. Big breakthrough for Lancashire Lightning. Kieran Carlson looked like he was just getting himself settled in. Takes a good catch and a deep mid wicket. So 36 for 1. Ben Kellaway's the new batter. Balderson's in. Oh, and he's playing and missing at that delivery. That comes back in. It's taken by Hurst to his left-hand side.
And if that is a criticism of Glamorgan in this competition this year, is that they have gone on the front foot in periods, in power plays. They have done this time, and as you mentioned, Carlson probably just didn't have enough of a look at the bowler that time.
Here's Balderson over the wicket, off the front foot, and punched him mid-off.
I think we've got to be really careful, obviously, when, you know, Carlson, he puts his foot down, steps down, hits it for 6, and we say it's a wonderful shot, and then he does it again, and
That's
it's sort of
true.
boundary. You're like, well, why is he doing that? So
yeah, you live by the sword, die by the sword.
You can't have both.
Yeah.
You can't have both, and he just has to assess his condition. Yeah, if that had gone for 6, we would have said it's a wonderful shot. So
yep.
you can't play high risk and then be held accountable for that.
Balderson in, stepping to the leg side is Kellaway, punching off his back foot through the offside, and Luke Wood does really well. And makes up the ground away to his left from mid-off.
And it's a high-risk game. He's at the top of the order. He's trying to get Glamorgan off to a big start. He's a dent into the total. They are chasing a big total. They need a flyer. You know, they need to go at a rate. They need to blast in the power play. So that's his role.
Oh, Flaps come across again. Here's Balderson in, nudged in towards the onside by Smale, out towards mid-wicket. And he keeps a strike as well. That's a good over that for Lancashire Lightning. The wicket of Kieran Carlson. We've gone through 3 of this Glamorgan reply. They're chasing 202 to win. And they are 38 for 1 after 3 overs.
I think the point former Glamorgan player Mike Powell was making, Paul, was T20 doesn't have to be frantic all the time, in that if you get your boundaries early doors in and over, you can actually manipulate the strike, and you can get your 8s, 9s, even without being frantic in inverted commas.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if you'd have seen Liam Livingston's innings, the 37 balls that he faced, he didn't hit all 37 balls, or try and hit all 37 balls for 6, did he? So there was periods where he hit ones, and then he would have time to take a ball down. Then he was, whether that was the start of an over or the end of an over, and a period when they lost wickets, he then consolidated a little bit with knocking the ball around, and then he targeted certain bowlers at certain times, and that's what you're talking about.
Wood starts the 4th, and that's wafted and missed by Smale. Well, what a stark contrast that was. 24 coming off the second, 3 coming off the third. 38 for 1. The target for Glamorgan is 202. Wood is bowling to Will Smale. Luke Wood starts his run up, left arm over to Smale, who chops down, but it's too firmly struck, too wide-ish mid-off. There's no run. So what were power play? 58 for 1 Lancashire were at the end of the power play. So 2 on the 45. Short third, short fine leg as Wood comes in. That's cut, and that will go all the way. Flew past point for 4. Just a bit too wide, bit of width, and Smale was on it in a flash.
Yeah, and it's natural in essence for the Wood to look at bowling a bit wider. Obviously, he's been picked off for his first over for 24. Hit for a couple of 6s on the leg side, so he doesn't want to hold tight really, because he's worried about that boundary on the leg side, 2 men out. So he hangs wider. It's a lovely catch up by Smale. Really, really nice execution. Found the gap.
And it just shows very little margin for errors. Wood comes in and, well, dancing down with Smale. They've come through for a single. It was wide as well, as Callaway comes through from the non-striker's end. Just slightly wayward. Just started to charge down, did Will Smale. Highest score of 65 last year. That came down at Chelmsford. 44 for 1 in the 4th. Bit of a breeze coming across again here at Stanley Park, but we've managed to avoid the rain so far, as Wood slams one in, and that's cut not too dissimilar to the earlier Will Smale cut shot, that time off the bat of Ben Callaway.
Again, short and wide. He's worried about getting picked off on the leg side, and he's just been cut through the offside again. But lovely, lovely execution. Finding the gap is the key, isn't it? You know, and then clubbing the ball at the offside ring that's there.
Yeah, anything just with a bit of width. You're playing with fire, and Callaway was on it in a flash, and it sped away to the offside boundary. Ben Callaway from Chepstow was on tour with the England Lions in Australia. Played for Welsh Fire last year. In at 3. 48 for 1. In comes Wood coming around. That's played through mid-wicket on the onside for a single.
And in comes Harry Singh there from deep mid-wicket. He's wearing an orange spiked up cricket shoe, it would appear.
Yeah, very luminous.
Yeah, very. I'm not sure if matches the red. I'll be honest with you.
Certainly a different shade of red if it is in the red category.
Last ball of Luke Woods over, coming around to Smale, and that's a good ball. It's a dot ball as well. Good end of the over. Glamorgan at the end of the fourth, 49 for 1, and the target for the visitors is 202.
I found that scorecard from the game in 2014 at Old Trafford, the only fixture between Lancashire and Glamorgan in T20 cricket, the quarter-final on the 1st of August. Do you have any decent memories of that particular?
Yeah, very much so, because the game was not played on a scheduled day.
It's Balderson. He's over the wicket and bowls. That's punched to mid-off, and there's no run. That's right, wasn't it? It was rain, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the game had a hell of a lot of rain involved.
Yeah.
The game was completely washed out the day before.
Yeah.
I think it was the reserve day that was used for the game. And I nearly missed the game.
49 for 1. Here is Balderson. That's a lovely shot up and over, extra cover by Kellaway. Out towards the boundaries, picked up by Singh, and Kellaway comes back for 2. That brings up the Glamorgan 50 in the 4th over.
I don't know if there's a second day or reserve day, or at least there was a reserve day.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a second reserve day.
I think it may have been. I think it did. I think you're right.
I think it may have been a second reserve day. The game was scheduled. It was a complete washout.
Yeah.
The day 2 was a complete washout. And by the morning of the 3rd day, we were told that we didn't. It was ominous that we were ever going to play. So I remember I left the ground and joined my then girlfriend for lunch.
As Balderson comes over the wicket, slap down the ground, and down towards the boundary below us, or behind us, and that's 4 more runs to the Glamorgan score.
And then randomly the game got agreed that we were going to start it, some time at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the second reserve day, and I got told to come back. I got stuck on the M60 and ultimately drove into Old Trafford.
As Balderson's into Kellaway, this nips back in and catches him in the mid-drift, deflects into the offside. There's no run. 55 for 1.
And went straight out and tossed the coin.
Good effort, Paul.
I remember we won a very close game by 1 run, maybe. Yeah, I remember Jordan Clark sort of finding rhythm and having an incredible spell. Bowling sort of, was our 6th bowler used, maybe.
Into Kellaway, inside edge into the onside for a single. Score moves on to 56 for 1. He got 4 for 22 in the innings, but did he get at least 3 of those in the 1 over? In the final over, wasn't it? Yeah,
it might have been, yeah. And it was sort of been bowled on LBWs. He sort of ran through a few people in the middle order. 3 bowled, Murray Goodwin, Chris Cook and Stuart Walters. All sort of bowled. So it was a really... He got his tail up, and I think sometimes you end up sort of in those situations, running with someone whose day it is. I was surprised in the first innings of this game that Douthwaite bowled his 4 overs. Van der Gugten only bowled 2. It wasn't his day, but why did we go back to him to bowl his 4th was a surprising call for me. On
the sweep, Smale out towards the leg side, and he's caught that beautifully. Flies over the boundary, goes for 6, and that completes the 5th over. Smale 26 from 13, Kellaway 13 from 10, and Glamorgan 62 for 1. 5 overs gone. Target is 202 to win.
Well, they're already above where Lancashire were at the end of the power play, although they will be acutely aware of events 48 hours ago in New Road, where they were cruising at 51. Kellaway to face. Slow left arm coming in. Kellaway tries the reverse. He has been trapped, caught doing that early on in this campaign. It's a dot ball. Plenty of experience, Tom Hartley, as he comes in to Kellaway. And that stayed slightly low. It's played down too long off just for a single.
I think if there's going to be some difference in the attacks today, I think Lancashire may have a bit more spin up their armoury to use. Obviously, Hartley we're seeing now, but you obviously have Livingston as well, and potentially Singh. Now, I thought the 4 overs of spin used by Glamorgan were really, really good.
Smale is on 26 from 13 and facing Hartley. International, of course, coming around. Left arm, and there's a appeal, and it ricochets to the offside. They come through for a single, which will be leg buys. Yes. So both batters going for the reverse sweep, not connecting. Still reminiscing about that 2014 match.
Yeah, we are a bit there. I'm just looking to see how Clark bowled.
Hartley. To Kellaway, who launches one into the offside, and it's going to clear the perimeter. Yes, it is. That is a maximum over the covers for 6 off the bat. That was sweetly struck. You can just hear from our position in the media tent. And Glamorgan push on to 70 for 1.
It's a beautiful cricket shot. He's given himself room. Lancs have employed a really, really wide mid-off, and he's gone even wider and hit it over sort of cover. It's a really, really nice cricket shot.
Hartley to Ben Kellaway, and that is nice. Another one bounce for 4, just backward of square, and this is a profitable over for Ben Kellaway and Glamorgan.
Up in a deep mid-wicket, which is really, really straight. So he's given himself room, 1 ball and hit over cover. So he knows a Hartley's going to come straighter at him. He just steps inside and sweeps it over square leg. He has got acres of room out there. It's wonderful batting.
12 of this over, and they'll settle for a single this time. Yes, they will. Just hit through mid-wicket. So 75, 13 off that over. 26 in 2 for Glamorgan. That is 75 for 1 at the end of the power play.
So then, where Lancashire, where the power play was 58 for 1, wasn't it? So obviously 75 for 1. Glamorgan in really, really good shape after the end of the power play, and some wonderful batting there. Clever batting, as you mentioned, in regards to using the crease, hitting over cover, and then obviously then coming inside the line and hitting with the wind and over deep backward square leg, and then knocking it for 1. Something that Powell has asked them to do, or you mentioned about doing it, but obviously some really clever batting by these 2 young players for Glamorgan.
75 for 1, it will be Tom Aspinwall, 7th over. As we get through that power play, fielding restrictions are relaxed. Aspinwall in and bowls us off the back foot and slapped away by Kellaway. Through mid-off for a single. 76 for 1. Yeah, just to round up that game back in 2014, the quarter-final between these 2 sides. Glamorgan fielding first, Lancashire batting first, made 137 for 8. Usman Khawaja's 67. The top scorer in the Lancashire innings by some distance. Aspinwall ball swatted out towards the leg side and caught. Smale goes for 26. Glamorgan lose their 2nd wicket. 76 for 2 in the 7th over, and Aspinwall strikes.
That was probably the identical place where Carlson was caught. So just hitting against the breeze, not connecting fully, and an important wicket for Lancashire.
Yeah, it's a shame, really. Obviously, the first over out of the power play, it normally settles down, and Smale is trying to take it, again take it down when maybe he didn't need to. Maybe he could have had a few more overs where he just sort of knocked it around a little bit, played in a certain way, but they've got him to 75 for 1 after the power play, after losing obviously Carlson early. So one of them again, if it had gone for 6, we would have said a great shot, wouldn't we? It's just more the wind, isn't it, and that end. They're hitting the end that had success, so but they're not hitting down breeze, they're hitting across, so they're trying to hit it across into a longish part of the ground, and they've just held out deep mid-wicket twice. Yeah,
Ben McDermott with the catch. 76 for 2. Glamorgan score in the 7th over. Aspinwall strikes. Henry Hurl is the new batter for Glamorgan. Skies darken down towards the south, but it's still dry. Aspinwall balls. Runs off the thigh pad and drops into the onside. No run.
Out without scoring in Worcester on Friday, Henry Hurl. highest score 46 in the second game against Gloucestershire.
Halfway through the 7th over. Plenty on Kellaway at the non-strikers end. 26 from 16 balls faced. Breeze picks up. It's blowing into Aspinwall's shirt as he's in and bowling. It's down the leg side. Tumbling stop from Matthew Hurst, but a wide call by umpire Steve O'Shaughnessy. 77 for 2. So a score of 137 for 8. That's what Lancashire finished on. So 138 would have won it for Glamorgan in 2014 in that quarter-final. And they fell agonisingly short. There's Aspinwall's in again, that nips back in as he tries to pull out towards the left side.
Who was the Glamorgan captain that day, Scott?
Jim Allenby.
Jim Allenby.
Yeah, the local Welsh product, Jim Allenby. But he was then followed by your next product of Jack Rudolph.
Yeah.
And your other local Swansea product, Murray Goodwin. Which was then followed by your Cardiff product, Chris Cook. Who was then followed by Stuart Walters.
Which just reinforces my point about homegrown talent needing to be better.
That's a bit more balls.
Yeah, it looked like you'd get into Perth grade cricket and picked a few up.
Mistime pull shot
for that
from
season.
Hill. 77 for 2.
Might have been a tough period of plucking homegrown talent.
Glamorgan side with Mark Wallace, Jim Allenby, Jack Rudolph, Murray Goodwin, Chris Cook, Stuart Walters, David Lloyd, Graham White, Andrew Salter, Dean Koska and Michael Hogan.
Oh, there's a few in there.
That's been all over the wicket and balls. That's pushed away off the pads and towards the onside by Hurl. And he's through for his first. And that is the end of the over. That's a very tidy over from Tom Aspinwall. 78 for 2. Hurl on 1, Kellaway on 26. Excellent work from Aspinwall. 7 overs gone. And 202 is the target. The Lancashire side from that game: Tom Smith, Ashwell Prince, Usman Khawaja, Carl Brown, Paul Horton, Stephen Croft, Alex Davis, Jordan Clark, Wayne White, Stephen Parry and Kyle Jarvis in the quarter-final. The only T20 fixture between these two sides over a decade ago.
Of course, the last time Glamorgan played here was as far back as 99.
90s, yeah. As a championship match, wasn't it? Yeah. Dig out the scorecard for that. Hang on. Give me a minute.
My colleague Edward Bevan would have a scorecard.
I'm sure.
I'm sure he would have been here. Hartley coming, and that's worked through mid-wicket for a single off the bat of Henry Hurl. They look for a second, but settle for one.
Actually a change of bowler. Livingston has come on, and as I mentioned previously regarding the spin, there was only 4 overs of spin in the Lancashire innings. So I actually think, obviously, Lancashire have the ability to bowl with more spin than Glamorgan did.
Yeah, beg your pardon.
And I do think that the lack of the pace-off may be a difference in the game. The ball seemed to have come on with the seamers, and they struggled. All the seamers have struggled today.
Livingston, and that's played on the full to deep cover for a single off the bat of Ben Kellaway. Livingston, of course, starred with the bat, making 81 off 37 balls.
Yeah, but Kellaway's over. You know, you had 4 overs for 30, and he bowled in a power play.
Into Hurl, reverse, and it was almost a snap catch by deep backward. It wasn't deep backward square, but it just had enough to evade Ben McDermott, who's caught the previous 2, and it sped away to the boundary for 4. Wasn't far away.
Nice reverse sweep.
In is Livingston to Hurl, who just flirts with it outside off stump, and is taken by keeper, and there's no run. 84 for 2.
It's brought about a change in the field, a short third man, a deep sort of third man wide point, and then 2 covers, an extra cover, a normal cover, and a mid off. So more of a put in place definitely for that reverse sweep.
Hurl pulls, doesn't. Oh, it's caught. It's caught. It plugged, and deep mid wicket came in. And yes, not happy with himself. Tom Hartley taking it, coming in. It just checked on Henry Hurl, didn't connect with it fully, and he trudges off in disappointment, and it's a 3rd wicket to fall
It was a shame, really. He didn't really do anything with it. It was a half tracker from Livingston. He didn't hit it on the ground, and he didn't hit it into the zoo, did he? He sort of just hit it as a catch into deep backward square leg, and that's probably his disappointment. If you'd try and take it down and you get corner boundary, fine. You know, that happens, but not all if you just chip into the leg side. And Lancashire again pick up a wicket, and as I mentioned, obviously the pace off what may be slightly the difference in the game here with regards to that. But Glamorgan is still doing well, 84 for 2, ahead of the run rate.
Yeah, just not full throttle into it. It just, had he give it the old kitchen sink, it would have cleared. As it was slightly half-hearted from Henry Hurl, and Tom Hartley did the rest. So Livingston strikes. Glamorgan 3 down in the 8th. 1 ball to go. It brings Sean Dixon in. Livingston to Dixon. Oh, and that just is prodded into the offside. End of a very good over. Wicket taking over at that. 6 coming off it. And Glamorgan, who are targeting 202 for victory, are 84 for 3.
Well, I think you're just are they ahead of the game here for you just a little bit in terms of, well, they are in the run rate, aren't they? They're going at 10 and over, which is more than what they need. But it feels like it's
so much in it.
A game that's in the balance a little bit for me. Yeah?
Well, the game definitely is in the balance. It will be in the balance for a while. When you're chasing 10s, it's always probably in the balance, really. But I think they are up with the run rate, or they're ahead of the run rate. It's just that wicket, it just drags them back a little bit. Obviously, now, the 2 spinners will take shape. Now, as I mentioned, you've got Livingston one end and Hartley the other end. Now, will that be an impact in the game, really?
Left arm spin of Hartley. Twirls his way in and bowls. Forward defensive, just tap back towards him. Starting with a dot ball here. Kellaway on 27. What's the DLS? Is that on the board? It is. It's 84, so it is right bang. Kind of neck and neck. The pass score, DLS pass score, is 84, so they could push ahead of it. This will help them now. That's worked out through the leg side for a single. Dancing down the pitch comes Ben Kellaway. 28 not out from 19 balls faced. 85 for 3. Here on Lancs TV and across the BBC Sport website and app, and on BBC Radio Lancashire's FM frequencies right across the county. With Lancashire Lightning, well, they're desperately needing a win here, and indeed are the Glammy boys as well. They've had 3 defeats from 5, so both sides in different groups, rather oddly, playing each other, but both requiring precious points. Hartley bowls, and back and across goes Dixon and defends. And there's no run. 85 for 3. It does feel a bit odd, that, doesn't it, when you'd win a game, but actually, so you'd improve your position in your group, but it wouldn't actually have an effect on the opposition in the group. Reverse sweep attempted. He's pleading for the LBW, is Tom Hartley.
I like it. I really like it, but that's what is odd about it, isn't it? You win a game, but you don't move on anyone else in your group. So that's the strange thing about it, I guess.
It is a bit odd. Lancashire's previous, the other fixture against another team from elsewhere was the first match at Surrey, which they lost. So they played Surrey in the South group and now away, and Glamorgan at home, and Glamorgan in the Central West group. Hartley in. That's Dixon off the front foot, trying to find a way forward, but he can't. And there's no run. So Glamorgan have been here, obviously here today. Who's the other team that Glamorgan are playing?
Middlesex.
Middlesex, right.
That's Cardiff.
It's a home banker. There's Hartley in and bowls. It's punched away into the offside again. There's no run. Excellent stuff. Just a single off it from Tom Hartley over. So really good bowling from Lancashire's left arm spinner. Just 1 run added in that 9th over. Glamorgan 85 for 3. Kellaway on 28. Dixon still on North. He's faced 5 deliveries. Target is 202 to win.
Very good over from Tom Hartley, just pulling Glamorgan back. We're almost neck and neck here as we come to the halfway stage. As Livingston to continue. Kellaway is on strike. Here he comes, Kellaway, and that's played firmly down towards long on the settle for a single. Well fielded.
Yeah, it's great moving by Singh. You move quick to the ball. What they do with Kellaway is they have a mid-off, normal mid-off in the circle, and they have a wide mid-off, extra cover wide mid-off out in the boundary. So it's a very interesting field, and it changes more traditional to Dixon. They go back to normal mid-off out in the boundary.
Livingston to Dixon, and that's squirted off the bat. Dixon hasn't got going here, as that's eventually out to short third, and it's a dot ball. So a bit of pressure coming back from Lancashire here. Livingston bowls. That's played on the onside, just a single on offer.
Yeah, they wanted two there, didn't they? Could have just pushed beyond the edge of the circle, but Hartley's up so quickly from the boundary.
It's a good effort here from Lancashire in the last couple of overs.
Yes, the pace off is really having a real effect in the game. Obviously, Livingston experienced.
Tried to launch one, but again, just a single.
And the challenge you got is you don't want Kellaway to end up having to do something more, exuberant now, rather than, he's 30 off 21, but Dixon's 1 off 7. So he's putting pressure on Kellaway to sort of keep up with the rain, do something. And last thing you want that is he end up being 90 for 4, losing Kellaway, who's going really well.
Livingston into Dixon. Oh, he's missed out again. And I think that was very, very close to a feather off the bat of Sean Dixon, taken by the keeper. Very good stuff this is. Just 3 off the over. Played by Dixon firmly down to long on. Very, very good over. 4 coming off the over of Livingston. So where are we? Glamorgan at the halfway stage, 89 for 3. Lancashire were 93 at this stage, so even Stevens.
Yeah, even Stevens. But what you're seeing now, and what Glamorgan fans and yourself would have not have seen or have been used to, is that this middle period is where Lancashire have been very successful in Old Trafford. This middle period, coming out of the power play, getting into two spinners and getting through the overs really quickly. Hustling round, you look up, all of a sudden you're into 12, 13 overs, and you don't know where the 5 overs have gone.
A reverse sweep here by Dixon. He's managed to engineer a scoring route on the reverse sweep from Hartley. He does get it away for 4, a much needed boundary that for Glamorgan.
Yeah, and where they've had success in Old Trafford is maybe less so today, but Old Trafford's a big ground. It's not as easy just to club the spin over the boundary. It normally spins and bounces as well. So spin is important between the overs of 6 and 12. And Lancashire do really well in that period as a fielding and bowling side normally.
93 for 3 off the back foot this time. Dixon just hopping back into his crease and flicking it away towards the leg side for 1. He moves to 7, 94 for 3. We're in the 11th over. Tom Hartley bowling. Key man Kellaway is back on strike. He's 30 from 21 balls faced. Hartley, his left arm spin around the wicket. Down the pitch he comes. It hit down the ground. Caught. No. I've gone with the crowd because I can't see. The players were reacting. I don't know whether he's been put down or not. Not got a clue. I can't see.
Yeah, dropped.
Okay. Down on the long on boundary. Chance spilled. Lifeline for Kellaway. And the score moves on to 95 for 3. Hartley bowls again. That's worked out towards the leg side.
Just got underneath that, Kellaway. .96 for 3. Brings Kellaway back on strike. 31 not out. Hartley in. No, it doesn't bowl. Doesn't release it. Oh, it's a tough chance. I've just seen it back on the replay. The Liam Livingston one. He's come away to his left, hasn't he? Livingston's put him down. Will go down as a drop chance, but tough one for Livingston. Kellaway gets himself all tangled up here as he goes across the stumps, trying to launch it out on the slog sweep towards the leg side. He's got through for a single. Not the most elegant single he's ever likely to take. 32 to him now, 97 for 3. Might be born out of that pressure Paul was alluding to, that, just come from a few dot balls to Sean Dixon.
Hartley to Dixon. That's cut away into the offside for no run. Well, it's the end of the over. It's an over which possibly should have had a wicket.
It's also give credit to Lancashire. It's also the field placement. So field placement, they have a 45 on the offside, like a short third man. They have a deep backward point, and then they have a cover, and they have a deep extra cover wide mid off, and they have their mid off up, which is a strange field, but it's set because Kellaway is comfortable hitting the ball over cover, as you hit a 6 previously. So what that does is Kellaway then thinks, well, I can't hit over cover where I normally do. I've got to try and take him down the ground over the mid off, and that got too tight, and he ends up nearly holding out a mid on. But it's just the field placing. So if the mid off was back, he'd go over cover where he's more comfortable. So to counteract his play.
Livingston, and that's chopped, is it? And caught. Yes, it is. Toe into the bat that time. Brilliantly caught. And it's Keaton Jennings, the captain, who takes it at mid-off, diving down low in front of him. And that was a very, very good catch. That is the end of Kellaway, who departs out for 32.
And that's that fielding position. So that is the mid-off up. So Kellaway is trying to hit over the mid-off up, because traditionally normal field would be mid-off, would be back. But because they plugged where he goes over cover, he's trying to do something he's not used to doing, and he holds out. And he's also feeling the pressure of Dixon's 8 off 13.
Yeah.
And thus, Glamorgan are slowly undoing their good work.
Trudging off is Ben Kellaway, and coming on is the Kiwi Jimmy Neesham. 4 down. So this game has ebbed and flowed, and the pendulum back in Lancashire's favour. Jimmy Neesham, who scored the winning boundary on Thursday at Somerset, cuts into the offside. Maybe 2 here. No, there isn't. There's long off comes around. 98 for 4. So not too dissimilar to the midpoint in the Lancashire innings, where Glamorgan did put the brakes on, but there was those 2 overs. 16 and 17 as Livingston. That's launched by Dixon, but deep mid will hurl it back in. Just a single. 41 coming in 2 overs, and the momentum went back to the home side. But it only takes 1 over in T20 as Livingston is in to Neesham. Just prodded. It's a dot ball. Very good over this by Livingston, taking the pace off. Very little to work with from a batting point of view. 99 for 4. 2 new batters at the helm. That's a dot ball, and Glamorgan finding life difficult at the moment.
Spinners have done really well here, haven't they, for Lancashire? As you said, Paul, it is such a big part of their of Lancashire's approach, isn't it, in T20 cricket? It has been for years, hasn't it? When you were captain of the side, it was the same, wasn't it?
Livingston, Fuller that time. Just a single down to deep backward square. 100 is up, but it's a tough period this for Glamorgan. Only 3 runs coming off the 12th, so they're 100 for 4, chasing 202 to win. So, but just a comparable Lancashire 103, so we're neck and neck really.
Yeah, Glamorgan are neck and neck, but do they have a Livingston in their lineup who's going to hit
that's the question.
8 sixes through this middle period? And I think what obviously, I don't know what Lancashire are going to do with the toss, but they would have been probably comfortable with getting a total and then trying to squeeze through this middle period with the spin. Also, you underestimate Livingston's ability to ball, because he bowls off spin at left-handers and leg spin at right-handers. So it's like having two bowlers in one.
Here's George Balderson from around the wicket. Bowls, he wants the LBW. Doesn't get it from the umpire. Neesham with a little inside edge on that.
It's been a long time since the last boundary.
Yes. It was 4 for Henry Hurl off the bowling of Liam Livingstone in the 8th over. And there was a 4 off by Dixon off Hartley in the 11th. Balderson in, going for the boundary this time, going right down the ground and all the way for 6. Thumped by Dixon over long off. Well, he got plenty of that, didn't he? 6 runs and a much-needed boundary for Glamorgan.
Yeah, nice job by Dixon. You know, catching up now, getting in and going, and this is what the Glamorgan need. They need a little partnership now with Dixon and Neesham here, just to get them going again. Obviously, he's still got a bit of batting left in the shed. Cook, Douthwaite, big hitters of the ball.
Yeah.
Douthwaite definitely, and then just need a bit of a partnership to get going, to get back on track. And if they stay in contention with the odd boundary here and there, they'll be okay with 10 and over.
107 for 4. There's a beefy blow from Dixon, was that. Squirts away off a thickish outside edge. Picked up at backward point. There's no run. So 107 for 4, Glamorgan. Target is 202 to win this game, so the runs required for victory down into double figures. 95 more from this point. Balderson in. Play and a miss from Dixon, the ball through towards Hurst. There's no run. It's a 15 from 17 balls faced for Sean Dixon. Needs a Dixon or a Neesham, or maybe a little bit of them both to try and match the work done by Livingstone when Lancashire were batting. For Glamorgan to get near. Can't get bat on ball, it just nibbles back in towards him from Balderson. And again, there's no run. It's a good comeback this from Balderson, who's hit for 6 down the ground with his second ball of the over, and then his comeback is 3 dots. Harry Singh limbering up as well, so we could see some off spin from Singh before too long. Steps across the stumps as Dixon. He's got it past Hurst. He's down towards the boundary, and it runs away for 4 runs. Dixon moves on to 19. In the end, 11 coming off that over, even with those 3 dot balls. 111 for 4, 13 gone, 91 to win from this stage.
Yeah, there as the rate just tags up to 13 and over. It just gets a little bit out of the reach a little bit when she starts to get, you know, above 12. There's 2 runs a ball. It just gets the tags. I think a couple of big overs here. Yeah, Glamorgan, they've had a real sort of poor period for the last 4 or 5 overs with regards to where they were and the position they were ahead of the run rate, and they have just tailed off in this middle period against the pace off.
Yeah, you look at the Duckworth-Lewis par score, it's 126. It would have to be at 127 at the end of this over to be ahead of DLS, which is always well, your old mate Stephen Moore always says that's something he always looked at. Was you the case when you were batting? You keep an eye on DLS?
Yeah, I think it's it gives you a good, you know, track of where you're going. Where, yeah, at the moment it's 10 and over, you need 10 and over, so that, you know, or to win the game is 10 over from the start.
Harry Singh to Jimmy Neesham, and they come through for a single. There's a shy at the stumps for the good backing up from Sean Dixon. Harry Singh will make 26 with the bat.
Yeah, it's important not that, wasn't it? It's a really good cameo from Singh at the back end of the innings, and from Balderson as well in that little partnership there for Lancashire.
112 for 4 brings Dixon on strike. 19 from 19. He needs to push on from here. Singh into Dixon. Just not timing it as he would have liked. Sean Dixon, top scored at Taunton, in is Harry Singh. Bit of width to manoeuvre, and is that going to get all the way? Brilliant stop on the deep point boundary, and they come back for the second. Brilliant fielding to save a couple of runs.
Yeah, lovely fielding by Moore's out on the boundary there.
A lot of ground to make up there. Singh to Sean Dixon, launches one, and that is going to go all the way. Thought that was going to plug for a moment. long on was interested and just slammed into the bank far side for a maximum.
And he's starting to get going here, Dixon. Give him his credit. He's got into his innings, obviously a slow start. And if he's just starting a couple of sixes, a couple of blows, starting to pick Glamorgan back up.
That's a bish. Oh, and just missed the covers, and it goes through for 4.
McDermott.
It was McDermott who was interested.
Yeah, he's tried to go over the 2 covers. They've gone for this. They've got a short third man and a backward, sort of deep backward point, but he's right around so he doesn't get reversed. And he's got 2 covers. There's a big gap in extra cover. And he's tried to hit over that, and he has done.
4, 6, 4. The last ball of Singh's over, and that's a full toss, and that's played in the onside. Only a single on offer that time, so that is a good over for Dixon and Glamorgan. So they move on to 125 for 4, so 14. Coming off the 14th over, so that's more like it in terms of the run rate, which you were mentioning 12s. Anything above that, it gets a bit nervy.
Yeah, really good over for Glamorgan there. A couple of blows and obviously a big over, a couple of big overs and they'll be right back in it. They're still slightly behind the Duckworth Lewis, which is 134 at the moment, but only 9 behind was where they were. And 6 overs to go here, 3 hitting with the breeze. They get back into it now. It's going to be a close game. Just need to keep going here, Glamorgan.
Tom Aspinwall returns. He's bowled 2 overs, 1 for 13. No one's bowled out yet for Lancashire. Aspinwall in and bowls, carved away through the offside by Dixon. Hartley sweeping round on the boundary to field. Dixon.
But it's those 16th, 17th and 18th overs. 21 off the 16th, 20 off the 17th, 10 off the 18th. That was really expensive.
Dixon to 33, 126 for 4. That brings Neesham on strike. So Balderson has got 1 over left, Hartley's got 1 left, and Hartley's got 1 left. Aspinwall bustles in. Neesham's on strike, tries to whip it out towards the leg side. It balloons off his 5-pad, I think. Yeah, leg by. And Neesham stays on 4. Score moves on to 127 for 4. Needing 75 to win. 34 balls left in the innings. Aspinwall balls. Oh, that's a big hit by Dixon. That has gone a mile out towards the pavilion. 6 for Dixon, and maybe he's just getting himself in the groove here.
Yeah, 3 sixes now. He's found his feet, Dixon, a little bit after a slow start from him, sluggish. Imagine if he'd got a run aboard the start, he'd be flying, wouldn't he? But he's 39 off 26. Think about where he was. He was 1 off 8.
Yeah.
He'd be 1 off 8. So he's amazing he's dot balls, Dixon, but he does catch up, and credit to him in his middle period. Not easy to come in, but 39 off 26, doing really well.
Here's Aspinwall to Dixon, steps across the stumps and scoops it over short fine leg and down towards the boundary. It'll bounce and spin over the rope. 6 muscled out to mid-wicket and 4 flicked over his shoulder to fine leg. And he moves into the 40s now. 43 not out, 27 balls face for Dixon, and Dixon's keeping Glamorgan in the game.
Yeah, incredibly going really well now, motoring, and Glamorgan are catching right back up here with regards to where they need to be with wickets in hand.
Here comes Aspinwall, balls again. That's slapped away towards the leg side for a single. Brings Neesham back on strike. I think Dixon's on 44. I'm not sure if that's...
Yeah, I don't think that's quarter.
No, I don't... Sure, I don't think it counted the 4. So I think he's on 44. And I think the score is 137 for 4. Here is Aspinwall. Balls again. That's clubbed down the ground, bouncing towards the boundary. Moore's doing his best to hurtle right across our media tent here, trying to cut the ball off, but he can't get to it. That's an impressive way to end the over for Dixon. 6, 4 and a 4. Very much keeping Glamorgan in the game here.
I reckon that's 142.
I think you're right. I think it's 1 1, I think, maybe.
1.
Oh no, they took a single, didn't they? So yeah, 1-4. I think you're right. 142. And Dixon's on 48.
So 17 off the 15th. So this is where Lancashire really stepped up at this point.
Sorry, folks, if you are watching on the live stream, we don't have the monitors, so we're dealing with the scoreboard that's just not quite up to date to our left.
There's a shot for MEW, and it's not given off the bat of Sean Dixon. It's Livingston continuing.
Yeah, just to confirm, it is 1-4-2.
Try to reverse. That's 2 dot balls. So this good bowling by Livingston.
Yeah, very much so. Like I said before, Livingston's ability to bowl off spin and then leg spin against a right-handed batter, underrated, and it's Livingston who's single-handedly keeping, with the bat and with the ball.
And that's launched by Dixon, but it's going to be caught. He's hauled out in the deep. It's been caught. That is the end. Harry Singh takes a comfortable catch. And trudging off in disappointment is Sean Dixon. And is that the wicket, the crucial one, that takes Lancashire ever closer to the finishing line?
Big wicket, that, Paul, isn't it?
Yeah, big wicket for Lancashire. Livy again in the action, and a match winner with the ball as well as it was with the bat. Glamorgan had to take some shots. Obviously, 2 dot ball again, 2 dot balls at the start of the over from Dixon. Yeah, missed out on his reverse sweep, couldn't do any leg side, and now had to take on the longest boundary into the breeze and held one up in the breeze. He'd be disappointed, but he disappointed with his real mixed innings from Dixon. There were some beautiful cricket shots in and amongst, just not the ability to move the ball around. He would have had double-figure dot balls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then ended up with 40 odd off a 30 ball. Like he got 44 off 30. I reckon he's 44 are off 18.
Brings Dan Douthwaite out. Clean striker of the ball, big hitter. Livingston to Douthwaite. Just plays that conservatively, and it's a dot ball. Big over this for Lancashire and Glamorgan. 2 balls to go. Livingston, Fuller, and again he's doing a sterling job. Here's Liam Livingston with bat and ball. Livingston to Douthwaite, who plays it to the offside. That's another dot ball, and that is a maiden. Brilliant. And those are like gold dust in T20.
That is a rarity, isn't it? We mentioned Jordan Clark's triple wicket maiden in the game between these two sides back in 2014. And a wicket maiden, you don't get to see those that often.
And it could put pay to Glamorgan's hopes here at Stanley Park.
Well, it's been a good day out, hasn't it, for Liam Livingston? The runs with the bat. He's 81. It was an outstanding knock, and then he just sends down a fantastic over there and gets the key wicket of Sean Dixon in a wicket made. So 3rd wicket of the afternoon as well for Liam Livingston. He's bowled out 4 overs, 3 for 13. I think that'll do for probably player of the match if Lancashire go on to win. 142 for 5. Neesham's on strike. Here is Wood. Neesham goes big. He's in the air. Has he got enough?
No.
Caught. Down towards the long off boundary. Long on boundary rather. Neesham departs, and that's the 6th wicket to fall. 142 for 6, and Wood strikes. He gets his first.
Not a lot Neesham could do there. He hasn't seen much of the strike since he's been in. He's been in there 3 or 4 overs, Neesham. He's faced 8 balls. It's not a lot. He sort of didn't get any of the strike, and then ultimately, Glamorgan needed 60 off 24 balls. He's trying to take that the right way, trying to take Wood down, and he's just got under one, and it's been held.
Liam Livingston with the catch.
But I think if the game carries on in this vein and Lancashire are successful in today's game, the difference in the sides is, a man who's just come back from the IPL, who's got 81 off 37 balls and bowled 4 overs, 3 for 13. There's a difference really in the sides here now and today. And I think Glamorgan although there was potential rain around, to try and chase is a interesting tactic potentially with Livingston and Hartley and potentially with a middle over of C. But they don't play against Lancashire enough to understand really Lancashire's game plan. It would have suited Lancashire to put a total on and try and squeeze hard in the middle period.
It's interesting, isn't it, when you just don't see T20 sides play against each other that often. Chris Cook, new batter. And that's sliced away as he caught that. It was a catching chance at short third. That's George Balderson. It's a tough chance, isn't it? It's gone low down to his right, diving low to his right. I think it may have carried. It's hard to tell from where we're commentating from. What do you reckon, Paul? I think that carried.
I think it may have just, but he looked like he scooped it, and then when he landed, it bopped out. It would have been a hell of a chance. I'm not sure it was ever really. He got it in. It was a hell of an effort.
Cook gets a single, brings Douthwaite back on strike. 1-4, 3 for 6. There is Luke Wood, left arm round the wicket. That's fiddled away down towards backward point. Through for a single. I was chatting to Keaton Jennings on Friday after the Yorkshire game, and he reckons he's never played Glamorgan in a T20 match. Which, again, this will be applicable, I guess, to quite a lot of these players across both sides. Just don't see each other. I know there's lots of analysis and all that stuff, but it's not the same, is it? Getting used to a team, playing them every year.
No, and also at an outground today. We're not playing at Old Trafford as well, so we're playing the ground that's got limited fixtures on.
Balls again. It's off the back foot, punch through the offside. Up towards Hartley on the point boundary. It's a clean pick up and throw in front of Lanky, the giraffe, Lancashire's mascot. 145 for 6. So it's 57 required for victory. 20 balls left. Been a good day out in Blackpool for Liam Livingston with the bat and with the ball. He's been the pick of the bunch. Wood left arm round the wicket, flashed away through the onside by Douthwaite. Gets through for 1. Moves on to 2. 146 for 6. To Wood's third over, so he's still got one more to come. There's only one bowler who's bowled through the 4, which is Livingston. 4 overs, 3 for 13. Aspinwall's got 1 left. Balderson's got 1 left. Hartley's got 1 left. Wood in again. Bowls muscled high towards the leg side by Cook, and all the way for 6 towards the pavilion. Big shot for 6 by Cook.
Nice strike by Cook. Around the wicket from Wood, and he's just got it in the slot, and Cook has just crunched it. Big 6. Really good strike from Cook. And they're hanging on ever so slightly here, Glamorgan. It's still a hell of an effort. They're going to need a couple of lusty blows here like that to get anywhere near Lancashire's total.
Yeah, brings up their 150, 152 for 6. So exactly 50 will win it from this position for Glamorgan. But they're rapidly running out of balls remaining. Just 3 overs to go.
Yeah, Lancashire were 168 after 17. Tom Hartley. It is Dan Douthwaite on strike. Has hit that hard, but he will come back. They'll try for a second. It's close, but they come back safely. They need much more. They need to deal in boundaries from here on in. 154 for 6 in the 18th. Hartley in, and that is a wide outside off stump. Can strike a ball. Can Dan Douthwaite, but he's gone all over that. That could be caught. Yes, it is, and it was a miss hit. He had to go and sing again. He's caught one previous. He came in, and surely now that is the end of the Glamorgan effort at Stanley Park. 155 for 7.
Yeah, he's hanging back down there, trying to pull the ball, knowing that Harley's going to screw it into the surface, and he didn't get half of the first one, and that one just sort of top-edged, and Singh running in from mid-on, he sort of came to an easy catch running in. And the innings is just sort of teetering off a little bit here for Glamorgan, 155 for 7. And like I mentioned before, I did think the lack of pace and the spin bowlers would take effect for Lancashire with regards to this middle period. You look at the Livingston 4 overs, 3 for 13. Hartley 3.1 overs for 24. So what's that, 37 off almost? So that's 7 overs in the game, nearly 8 overs in the game with regards to going for 37. 4 for 37 off that, and that's the difference in the sides. Livingston getting an 80 odd, and obviously their spin bowlers, being the difference with the total on the board. It's the difference between the sides today.
McAndrew comes in, but it seems as though it'll be to no avail now. Hartley comes in to McAndrew, that squirts off the outside edge of the bat, and there's no run. 155 for 7 in the 18th. The target was 202. That is way out of reach, surely. McAndrew launches one, but only towards long on, and a single is taken. Yeah, just petered out as Glamorgan's innings. Spin has done the damage. Livingston and Hartley. Brings Chris Cook on strike. In is Hartley to Cook, toe end of the bat, and it just evades the man at cover for 4.
Yes, really nice batting. Cook is land back. Yeah, Keaton Jennings is a big man to get over at cover, but it's really, really nice batting.
160 for 7. Still require 42. Hartley to Cook, just checked on him, and he was trying to launch one, but it's only up to long off. A single. 161 for 7. So 9 coming off that over. 12 balls to go, and this should be a procession as far as Lancashire are concerned.
And it's a shame. I think the midway through, or just under the midway through, we thought Glamorgan were going to get a lot closer to this total. The total was it is a good total. It didn't blow the game apart, but it is a good total, 201. But if we are honest and we look down the sides, if you put the sides, on paper, the 11s on paper side by side, Glamorgan have got 1 international cricketer and 2, maybe Tim van der Gutten play for the Holland. Yep. Lancashire have got 6 guys who play international cricket. On Lancashire's top 4 of Jennings, Harris, Livingston and McDermott, you would probably take 3 of those.
Here is George Balderson in. That's hit back down the ground. Actually hits it right into his partner at the non-striker's end. Oh, blimey, has he been run out? I think he has. Oh wow, what a horrible way to go. Calamity really from McAndrew at the non-striker's end. It was Cook on strike. He's slapped it back down the ground. Actually hits McAndrew at the non-striker's end. The ball bounces down to Balderson. He picks it up, throws at the stumps, and McAndrew's out of his ground and is run out. 8th wicket down, 161 for 8.
Well, at first I thought he was going to go for the catch, and then he didn't sort of carry, and then he really quick thinking to run him out. I don't know if McAndrew thought that because he'd been hit, the game might naturally stop a little bit. He didn't really get back in time, did he? It was all happened so quickly.
He did.
I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on whether the game is Lancashire's or not, but he just couldn't get out of the way, could he?
No, not helped by the fact he was walloped by his teammate, hit him right in the stomach. He was quite a way down, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's backing up as that's hit back to him by Cook. Oh dear, that's a bit of an ugly way to lose your wicket.
Probably sums up the afternoon in a nutshell.
Cheers, Chris Cook. You hit it right back at me, and I've been run out. Here is Balderson in, and Cook launches the ball out towards the leg side. Comes back for 2. Just watching it back on the replay, he absolutely thumped it. McAndrew's got both feet off the ground. It hits him in the stomach. He's quite a way down the pitch. It bounces straight to George Balderson, and he runs him out. 163 for 8. Balderson in. Cook goes a mile out towards the leg side. It's going to be a big hit for 6 for Cook. Well, they're still having a go at this at Glamorgan.
They are, and a great little cameo from Cook, batting probably lower down the order than he probably thinks he might deserve to. Obviously, Neesham coming up with the left-hander gives you an option, and he's a quality cricketer, but 21 off 8. Cook's having a little lone hand here at the end, a little bit too late for Glamorgan today, sadly.
33 still required. Here is Balderson to Cook. He goes again. It's 6 more. Out towards deep mid-wicket. Well, he's gone back-to-back sixes. It's 27 required to win. And we've got 2 balls left of the 19th over. The 27 required to win. 8 deliveries left. 175 for 8. Probably needs to go again, doesn't he, here? He goes again. Offside this time. That'll be 6 more.
Wow.
3 on the
Brilliant
spin
batting this
for Cook. Keeping Glamorgan in with a chance. It's 21 to win. And they have 7 deliveries left. 21 to win, 7 balls left. 3 sixes on the spin by Chris Cook. And he's just hanging on in the game. 181 for 8. 3 sixes greeted with deathly silence around Stanley Park. Here is Balderson to Cook, flashed out towards the leg side. It's gone for 4. It beats the dive of Luke Wood. So it's 4 out towards deep backward square leg. And that ends the over. 17 to win, 6 balls remaining. Of course, 16 will tie it. 185 for 8. 1 over to go.
24 off the over.
Well, I didn't see that over coming. I didn't see that for Morgan. What a hell of an innings this is from Cook. He's 37 off 11. And a brilliant little cameo when all else is dead and buried for Glamorgan. They've got him up to 185 and 8. And actually, depending on what they get off this over, will look like the game's a lot closer than it ever was, really.
Yeah.
You know, Glamorgan have not been in the game for 10 overs, if we're honest with ourselves. But they've got a chance here. What do they need? 17?
Well, they probably need Chris Cook on strike.
Yes, that's against them, hasn't it?
This is 1, 4 or 6. This needs to be.
Well, Tim Van Hoogten is a clean striker as well. So
Luke Wood it will be.
It's going to be Luke Wood. Pressure building. Wood to Tim Van Hoogten, who smashes it. Has it gone for 4? Yes, it has.
Oh, lovely
First
strike.
one
Lovely strike.
has been struck firmly on the offside for 4. 13 required.
12 to tie.
12 to tie of 5.
If Glamorgan win this will be one of the best wins they've ever produced from where they are.
13
the crowd
required
has gone
to win from 5.
completely silent.
Wood coming in to Van der Hoogten. This is only going to be a single taken.
Clever
12
play,
to
actually,
win.
from Van der Hoogten. He's done that on purpose. He's 5 off 2. He couldn't get count one for any more. He's hit a 4 and then he's just got Cook on strike. And Cook's got a chance here with the wind hitting with the breeze to try and take down the leg side. He'll be giving himself, he'll be stepping across, he'll be trying to slog sweep or power one. And Luke Ward's going to try and go wide on him, but you run the risk of bowling wides, etc.
12 to win off 4, 11 to tie. Chris Cook is on strike.
Field is a 45 at square legs up.
Wood.
I'm not sure about that.
Coming in to Cook. Oh, and that is a swing and a miss, and it's not a wide either, so it's a dot ball, and that might be that.
He stood still, Cook. He's got to be brave and get across his stumps and back himself to hit it. Anything on the leg side is 4 or 6. If he gets it on the leg side, he's got to go right across his stumps and force Wood to do something different. If he stands in where he is now, Wood's going to push the ball across him.
12 to win off 3 balls. Here comes Wood to Cook. Cook, it's gone, and 1 bounce for 4.
6?
Oh no, it's 6. I thought it just had the legs, difficult from our vantage point to see, but it just did enough. And it's a maximum.
Glamorgan are favourites.
Wow.
He's 6 to win, 2 balls left.
6 to win off 2 balls. Who would have believed it? 5 to tie, 6 to win of 2 balls.
6 of 2.
It looked as if that ball had just plugged and it was 4, but it was 6. Unbelievable this is from Chris Cook. 43 from 13. Wood starts his run-up. Tension here at Stanley Park. Wood coming in to Cook. Oh, that's a wide.
He's bowled a no ball.
A no ball. It's a no ball and a free hit. Well, well, well.
It is the last thing you would want to bowl with 6 off 2.
Well, this is unbelievable.
It is now 5 off 2, and this is a free hit. Lancashire have
5 to win off 2 balls. This is a free hit. Chris Cook is on strike. 43 of 14. In comes Wood to Cook. He struck and he's picked out the fielder, so that's only a single.
4 to win off 1. 3 to tie.
3 to tie, 4 to win, but it's Tim van der Hoogden. Now then, Gloucester beat Glamorgan with a 4 off the final ball. This has come down to the wire. Unbelievable.
How's it come down to this, Paul?
I'm not sure how it's got to this. I don't know what the stats on the last 2 overs going for. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So, field's been rejigged accordingly. It's come down to the last ball, as it did for Glamorgan in Taunton, as it did in Sophia Gardens against Gloucestershire. It's going to be Tim van der Hoogden, who requires 4 to win, 3 to tie.
The challenge he's got a third man at backward point. I think he's going to push the ball. If he pushes the ball across him and he squirts anything out the offside, he could go for 4.
So this is it. Wood starts his run-up to van der Hoogden.
That's 4.
This got it. And that's it. Glamorgan, unbelievably, have won off the last ball. I've never seen anything like that. Chris Cook, 44 of 15 balls. How on earth did Glamorgan manage to get over the line? I'm absolutely dumbfounded. And so
I don't really know what to say. I don't know how it's ended up. It's all happened in a blur. Chris Cook has just taken the game down from at the end of the 18th over with 2 overs to go. I'm not sure what they needed after the end. Was it 44?
The 44-15 was his innings. 24 came off the 19th.
And then what was off the last? 17. It's phenomenal.
17 of the last, yeah.
Spare a thought for Liam Livingston here. He's got 81 off 37 balls and bowled 4 overs, 3 for 13, and ended up on the losing side.
Of course, he bowled a wicket maiden when Douthwaite
and he bowled
the 16th over.
He bowled the 16th over was a wicket maiden.
And then the following over went for 10, and then 9, and then 24. And then that final over to win it.
Just received a WhatsApp message from someone saying never in doubt. I mean, unbelievable.
Well, they were miles off it, Glamorgan, weren't they?
When McAndrew was run out, that seemed to indicate the end for Glamorgan, because it was such a catalogue of errors. And then Chris Cook just launched into it. He just probably thought, well,
the run out was the first ball of the 19th over, and then Cook got 24 off the following 5 deliveries in that over.
Yeah.
So he got 20. There was 24 runs off the 17th over, but the first ball of it was a wicket. So there's 24 runs off 5 balls in the 19th
and
over.
The Glamorgan players are just, and Lancashire, just completely in shock of what we've seen.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's a ridiculous run chase from Glamorgan from absolutely nowhere. But I'm never quite sure in these situations, Paul, whether that's Glamorgan winning it from an almost impossible position, or a team throwing it away, or is it a bit of both?
I think ultimately you got to think it's a bit of both. I think you have to give credit to Cook, like, to play in innings of 44 off 15 balls. He's at 5 sixes and 2 fours. You know, it's a hell of an innings to come in and win a game of cricket from there. And Tim van der Gugter's got 9 off 3 and hit 2 boundaries to win the game. Yeah, it's an incredible.
So what were they, Scott? Again, that first ball of the 19th.
The first ball.
Where was Glamorgan at then? When McAndrew
over
fell.
They were 167 for 7. The first ball of the 19th over, 167 for 7.
161, wasn't it?
Sorry, 161 for 7.
161 for 7 at the start of the 19th.
The start of the 19th.
And then the first ball of the 19th was a wicket.
First ball
so
of the 19th.
There was 11 balls left in the game, and they've got 31 off 11 balls to win a game.
That's a remarkable victory.
It has to be some sort of record.
So there was one no ball chucked in, wasn't there?
There was a no ball in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 31 off 12.
So the no ball in the last over meant that he bowled an extra ball. The extra ball was the one he hit before.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Absolute drama.
Absolute drama. Absolute drama. I don't think you can really that is, how do we liken this in football terms? It's a smash and grab job. Let's be honest. They haven't really been in the game at all. With Lancashire got 200. Liam Livingstone, took the game away from Glamorgan really with the bat. 81 off 37 balls. He played a different game to everybody else. And then obviously Glamorgan had fits and starts with their innings, didn't they? Some guys played some really nice cricket at the top, all chipped in. Dixon 44 off 31 after slow start, but you're looking at 18, 26, 32 for the top 3. Dixon 44 off 31. And the game, and then Neesham 8, Douthwaite 4. Like, Cook has come in at, 11, 10, 9. He's batted at 8 and got 44 off 15. It's rare that Luke Wood would go at 15 and over, an international cricketer. And credit to Glamorgan. It's a win for them, and it will boast them up in the competition, and it's a hell of a win from nowhere.
Exactly, and it's a brilliant win in any scenario, but a win that, in that situation, in terms of the context of the group for Glamorgan now, it keeps prospects alive until the resumption of the competition. We've got a break now of 2 championship fixtures because they might have been dead and buried in it.
Lancashire have got one more blast game before the championship starts. They're at Durham on Tuesday. It's a huge boost to Glamorgan's bid to keep in the competition in terms of qualifying.
Well, they would have targeted 2 out of the 3 away fixtures they've had. They've won 2, and they've won 2 on the very last ball.
And it moves them to 3rd in the group, so 12 points, 3 wins from 6. Gloucestershire and Northamptonshire Steelbacks both have 20 points in the Central and West group, so a real boost for Glamorgan as they bring this kind of curtain down on this first batch of T20 games. For Lancashire Lightning, Paul, it's now played 5, lost 4, and this is uncharted territory really for Lancashire in T20 cricket.
Yeah, it is. It is, especially with their record with regards to T20 cricket and qualifying out of the group. I couldn't remember the last time Lancashire have not qualified for the quarter-final. And their statistics on winning games of cricket in T20 cricket is unbelievable. The second most wins out of any county in the country, isn't it? Over the history of the T20 Blast. So they normally sit well. For them to, the thought of them not qualifying, I don't think we're in that stage yet, but
it's not far off, is it?
It's not far. It doesn't give you much room. They've played 5, lost 4. They got how many games to go? 7 to go. 7 games to go in the group. You're going to have to win 4 of those games you know, to be in with a chance. 4, if they win 4 from there, they'll have 5 wins. Probably not enough 5 wins, I don't think. It will depend on how they do against the others.
Well, they've got Durham to come on Tuesday, a trip to Durham on Tuesday. But I presume this will take a bit of recovering from. Just, you know, from a player point of view, Paul, in the dressing room, having been so poor on Friday in the big Roses fixture, where they just didn't turn up at all, and then throwing away a winning position here, that's going to be, I guess, quite something to kind of bounce back from.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it's not a great blow for the team at the moment with regards to, obviously they were put, you know, on television on Friday night in the Roses against, I must admit, a Yorkshire team that I think looked well equipped. You know, let's be honest, Yorkshire's record in T20 cricket isn't fantastic over the last 20 odd years, but they look a side that's got, you know, some really good quality in their side, and they had 2 overseas players who they were hoping to do well before they sort of lose them. But you know, and obviously to lose in the vein they did on Friday night is not a nice thing. You know, Lancashire are used to winning Roses matches. We've won more than Yorkshire have, and they're used to putting up a good fight. And it was you know, they folded the other night, didn't they? And it was their batting that folded. Their batting then came here today, and Lancashire's batting put on a show and got 200. And it's led by a quality international cricketer that Lancashire have in their ranks. They've then done everything in a game. They've been poor for 3 overs. Or 2 overs, or 11 balls, if we're really honest. Because apart from that, they'd won the game. They were good in the field. I think it's just it's a shame. You know, Luke Wood is. You know, would you put money on Luke Wood going for 60 odd? You know, he's bowled. Luke Wood's international cricketer. He's bowled 4 overs for 62. He's bowled 2 wides and 2 no balls. You know, it's not really what you would expect from Luke Wood. The spinners did really well. They bowled 8 overs between them, 4 for 43 for 8 overs from the spin. You know, if you're picking it, yeah, you would want Luke Wood to hold the seam attack together. But it wasn't an easy day for any seam bowlers. And to be fair to George Balderston, he's had more exposure in 4-day cricket than he has in T20 cricket. And to bowl the 19th over probably exposed him a little bit today. He didn't close it out, did he, at all? His success in 4-day cricket, Balderston, is the ability to hold his length, isn't it? That's his success in 4-day cricket. He runs in, he stands the seam under, holds his length. T20 cricket is different, and he just had a bad 19th over.
It was almost as if in that 19th, given the way McAndrew was out, though, Chris Cook partly felt responsible for running his own play out by pile driving him on the non-strikers. He was it just sort of flicked a switch, and I'm going to just bludgeon everything. And you know, we know Chris Cook is such a ferocious hitter of the ball. He hasn't been in great form in either form of the game, and it just. I mean, he was in the groove, wasn't he? He was in the rhythm.
Is it kind of an innings from Cook that's kind of what? It comes off once every 7 or 8 times? That type of innings?
Once a career?
Once a career, yeah. Fair enough, all right, fair enough.
I'm not sure he's going to go out and hit 44 or 15 balls ever again.
Fair enough, okay.
He probably needs to have a conversation and say he deserves to go above maybe Douthwaite in the batting order, I would have thought. Douthwaite looks a clean